Cek audio 1, 2, 3, cek sound 1, cek audio 1, 2, 3, cek 1, cek 2, cek low, cek audio 1, 2, 3, cek sound.
Selamat datang di Gedung Rektorat Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa Sindang Sari Integrated Campus. Gedung Rektorat Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa memiliki tinggi 60 meter dengan luas 6.469 meter persegi dengan kapasitas 4 lantai. Gedung Rektorat Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa dilengkapi dengan 2 fasilitas lift. 1 lift berada di dekat pintu utama atau sebelah utara, dan 1 lift terletak di dekat pintu belakang gedung atau di sebelah selatan. Masing-masing lift memiliki kapasitas 20 orang. Ketika menggunakan lift, pastikan penggunaan sesuai kapasitas. Jika terjadi kerusakan pada lift dan Anda terjebak di dalam, jangan panik. Hubungi tim evakuasi dengan menekan tombol darurat pada lift. Dilarang menekan tombol yang tidak diperlukan atau bermain tombol pada panel yang berada di dalam lift. Biasakan selalu gunakan jalur kiri untuk berjalan. Sesuai dengan ketentuan keselamatan yang berlaku di Untirta Sindang Sari Integrated Campus, kami dari Duta Smart Green akan menyampaikan induksi keselamatan. Saat ini kita sedang berada di ruang multimedia lantai 1 Gedung Rektorat Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa. Terdapat 2 potensi keadaan darurat yang mungkin terjadi, yaitu kebakaran dan gempa bumi. Jika terjadi kebakaran, tetap tenang dan jangan panik. Segera informasikan kepada petugas, jika mampu padamkan api menggunakan apar yang ada di dalam gedung. Jika terjadi gempa bumi, tetap tenang dan jangan panik. Lindungi diri Anda dan segera menuju jalur evakuasi yang berada di sebelah kiri podium. Kemudian petugas akan mengarahkan ke titik berkumpul yang ada di depan gedung.
Jagalah kebersihan kampus dan buanglah sampah pada tempat yang telah disediakan.
Buanglah sampah sesuai jenisnya.
Terima kasih atas perhatian Anda.
Dan selamat beraktivitas kembali.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Saya resmikan kampus baru Untirta Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa di Sindang Sari, Kabupaten Serang, Provinsi Banten pada sore hari ini.
Tirta Sindang Sari ini dibangun atas bantuan dana loan dari Islamic Development Bank yang disupervisi oleh Bappenas dan Kementerian Keuangan melalui Kementerian Dikbud RI, kalau dulu Kemenristek RI kan. Sebenarnya tergabung dalam project 4-in-1. Ada 4 universitas yang menerima dana bantuan Islamic Development Bank yang dimulai sejak 2016. Kemudian proyek konstruksi itu dimulai di 2018, 2020. Dan Untirta mendapatkan pengembangan kampus baru Untirta di Sindang Sari sesuai dengan proposal yang kami ajukan. Di tempat ini terdiri dari 12 gedung termasuk pintu gerbang dan 1 gedung additional work itu yang untuk pembangunan karakter di sebelah kiri. Di total 12 gedung. Alhamdulillah sudah selesai di akhir 2020 tadi. Atas nama masyarakat Banten saya memberanikan diri ya, tentu menyampaikan terima kasih atas dukungan penuh dari pemerintah ya, terutama Pak Presiden Jokowi. Ini merupakan kenangan indah dari masa pemerintahan beliau dengan memberikan dukungan pembangunan fasilitas kampus baru yang membanggakan bagi masyarakat Banten. Diharapkan dari sini akan lahir generasi emas Indonesia yang akan memperkuat, mempercepat terwujudnya Indonesia maju.
Inspired by the local values and the thoughts of the leading and intellectual figures of Banten, Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa and Sheikh Nawawi al-Bahtani, and fueled by the desire to contribute to the quality of Indonesia's human resources and global engagement. Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa, better known Untirta, officially presents through the establishment in 1981. Untirta is a government-owned university located in the province of Banten, Indonesia, located 75 kilometers from the capital of Indonesia, Jakarta, to the west, and the only public university under the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology, located in Banten province. Untirta's commitment to excellence has driven viable and vigorous international academic engagement and collaborations. Untirta has 7 faculties spread across the city of Serang, the capital city of Banten province, and in the city of Cilegon, which is the hub of multinational companies in Banten. To support academic excellence, all buildings in Untirta are environmentally friendly, designed and attached to the sustainability principles, which are realized through the maximum use of the most innovative technology in support of academic and research activities. Strengthening the existence of Untirta nationally, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology has appointed Untirta as the National Center of Food Security since 2019. At the global level, Untirta has taken part in the creation of knowledge, especially related to research in food security. The availability of a modern and highly innovative integrated research laboratory supports the creation of the impactful research results. As evidence of its dedication to knowledge creation and global commitment, the faculty members of Untirta have won national and international research and collaboration grants from various institutions, like the Ministry of Culture, Education, and Research and Innovation, Indonesia, World Bank, British Council, USAID, Séjour Scientifique de Haut Niveau SSHN, France, Islamic Development Bank. These endeavors confirm its engagement in global research networking and cooperation. Untirta is also a home that not only acts as a place, but also as a source of knowledge, example, and virtue. Therefore, the entire academic community is obliged to uphold basic values in carrying out their duties and responsibilities, which are oriented to the 9 excellent characteristics. For example, smart, persistence, innovative and creative, visionary, proactive, open-minded, communicative, tolerant, preserving local values. A supportive and conducive academic environment and facilities have driven the emergence of young intellectuals. The students play a significant role in contributing to global academic excellence by actively participating in international academic events, like winning international essay writing competitions, international research grant, and international academic student mobility awards. Committed to enhancing the engagement of students to its academic excellence internationally, Untirta provides Tirtayasa's International Scholarship, TRIAS. To build its international reputation, the commitment is realized by broadening and strengthening international networking and partnership, not only with universities, but also industries through research schemes and internship programs. Oriented to academic excellence and social impact, Untirta is committed to making Banten and Indonesia as a part of the global community and participating in the making of a better world.
Baik, selamat pagi seluruh teman-teman yang sudah hadir. Sebelum memulai acara, izinkan kami untuk menginformasikan beberapa hal selama mengikuti acara konferensi kali ini. Di antaranya hal pertama, kami silahkan untuk mengkonsumsi snack yang sudah diterima, namun mohon untuk tidak mengkonsumsinya ketika acara sudah dimulai. Tentu saja sampah ataupun kardus bekas makanannya tolong tidak diletakkan di atas, tolong diletakkan di area bawah. Kemudian poin kedua, pastikan kehadiran Anda tidak sia-sia, jadi dimohon untuk segera klik link absensi agar dapat menerima sertifikat yang sudah disiapkan. Kemudian poin ketiga, ini adalah bagian dari support system kami, dimohon untuk jika di gadget Anda atau di gawai Anda memiliki aplikasi YouTube, tolong dibuka akun UTV. UTV ini TV kita bersama ya, untuk tolong di-subscribe sekarang juga sebagai peserta seminar, peserta konferensi, mohon untuk men-subscribe YouTube UTV. Sekali lagi kami mohon pastikan ya berkenan untuk segera mengklik link yang sudah disediakan untuk absensi dan juga menerima sertifikat yang telah diberikan. Dan juga teman-teman pastinya nanti di tengah acara ada sesi diskusi. Ini Q&A ini diberikan seluas-luasnya untuk teman-teman yang sudah hadir untuk bisa berpartisipasi dengan antusias di konferensi kali ini. Ya tentu saja sekali lagi ya sebelum kita memulai acara berkenan untuk mengklik link absensi agar dapat menerima sertifikat dari acara ini. Kemudian poin kedua, tolong sekarang handphonenya dikeluarkan, dibuka YouTube-nya, terus diklik subscribe untuk UTV. Boleh dong ya? Silahkan, kita sambil pantau jumlah subscribernya. Link absensinya ada di mana? Masih belum tersebar link absensinya? Boleh dibantu panitia link absensinya untuk disebar kembali? Saya juga mau bocorin nanti di tengah-tengah acara ada door prize ya bagi mahasiswa yang beruntung. Apa tuh door prize-nya? Logam mulia katanya. Nggak bercanda. Pokoknya adalah spesial buat kalian yang udah hadir di sini. Dari pagi ya? Iya dong pagi. Terima kasih ini sudah bergerak subscribernya, luar biasa ya. Terima kasih teman-teman. Ini link absensinya masih diproses untuk disebar oleh panitia tentu. Baik, ada informasi baru bahwa linknya akan disebar di ujung acara. Jadi pastikan tetap berada di penghujung acara karena link absensinya dan juga berikut sertifikatnya akan disebar di akhir acara.
Inspired by the local values and the thoughts of the leading and intellectual figures of Banten, Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa and Sheikh Nawawi al-Bahtani, and fueled by the desire to contribute to the quality of Indonesia's human resources and global engagement. Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa, better known Untirta, officially presents through the establishment in 1981. Untirta is a government-owned university located in the province of Banten, Indonesia, located 75 kilometers from the capital of Indonesia, Jakarta, to the west, and the only public university under the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology, located in Banten province. Untirta's commitment to excellence has driven viable and vigorous international academic engagement and collaborations. Untirta has 7 faculties spread across the city of Sorong, the capital city of Banten Province, and in the city of Cilegon, which is the hub of multinational companies in Banten. To support academic excellence, all buildings in Untirta are environmentally friendly, designed and attached to the sustainability principles, which are realized through the maximum use of the most innovative technology in support of academic and research activities. Strengthening the existence of Untirta nationally, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology has appointed Untirta as the National Center of Food Security since 2019. At the global level, Untirta has taken part in the creation of knowledge, especially related to research in food security. The availability of a modern and highly innovative integrated research laboratory supports the creation of the impactful research results. As evidence of its dedication to knowledge creation and global commitment, the faculty members of Untirta have won national and international research and collaboration grants from various institutions, like the Ministry of Culture, Education and Research and Innovation, Indonesia, World Bank, British Council, USAID, Séjour Scientifique de Haut Niveau SSHN, France, Islamic Development Bank. These endeavors confirm its engagement in global research networking and cooperation. Untirta is also a home that not only acts as a place, but also as a source of knowledge, example, and virtue. Therefore, the entire academic community is obliged to uphold basic values in carrying out their duties and responsibilities, which are oriented to the 9 excellent characteristics. For example, smart, persistence, innovative and creative, visionary, proactive, open-minded, communicative, tolerant, preserving local values. A supportive and conducive academic environment and facilities have driven the emergence of young intellectuals. The students play a significant role in contributing to global academic excellence by actively participating in international academic events, like winning international essay writing competitions, international research grants, and international academic student mobility awards. Committed to enhancing the engagement of students to its academic excellence internationally, Untirta provides Tirtayasa's International Scholarship, TRIAS. To build its international reputation, the commitment is realized by broadening and strengthening international networking and partnership, not only with universities, but also industries through research schemes and internship programs. Oriented to academic excellence and social impact, Untirta is committed to making Banten and Indonesia as a part of the global community and participating in the making of a better world. Inspired by the local values and the thoughts of the leading and intellectual figures of Banten, Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa and Sheikh Nawawi al-Bahtani, and fueled by the desire to contribute to the quality of Indonesia's human resources and global engagement, Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa, better known Untirta, officially presents through the establishment in 1981. Untirta is a government-owned university located in the province of Banten, Indonesia, located 75 kilometers from the capital of Indonesia, Jakarta, to the west, and the only public university under the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, located in Banten Province. Untirta's commitment to excellence has driven viable and vigorous international academic engagement and collaborations. Untirta has 7 faculties spread across the city of Sorong, the capital city of Banten Province, and in the city of Cilegon, which is the hub of multinational companies in Banten. To support academic excellence, all buildings in Untirta are environmentally friendly, designed and attached to the sustainability principles, which are realized through the maximum use of the most innovative technology in support of academic and research activities. Strengthening the existence of Untirta nationally, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology has appointed Untirta as the National Center of Food Security since 2019. At the global level, Untirta has taken part in the creation of knowledge, especially related to research in food security. The availability of a modern and highly innovative integrated research laboratory supports the creation of the impactful research results. As evidence of its dedication to knowledge creation and global commitment, the faculty members of Untirta have won national and international research and collaboration grants from various institutions, like the Ministry of Culture, Education and Research and Innovation, Indonesia, World Bank, British Council, USAID, Séjour Scientifique de Haut Niveau SSHN, France, Islamic Development Bank. These endeavors confirm its engagement in global research networking and cooperation. Untirta is also a home that not only acts as a place, but also as a source of knowledge, example, and virtue. Therefore, the entire academic community is obliged to uphold basic values in carrying out their duties and responsibilities, which are oriented to the 9 excellent characteristics. For example, smart, persistence, innovative and creative, visionary, proactive, open-minded, communicative, tolerant, preserving local values. A supportive and conducive academic environment and facilities have driven the emergence of young intellectuals. The students play a significant role in contributing to global academic excellence by actively participating in international academic events, like winning international essay writing competitions, international research grant, and international academic student mobility awards. Committed to enhancing the engagement of students to its academic excellence internationally, Untirta provides Tirtayasa's International Scholarship, TRIAS. To build its international reputation, the commitment is realized by broadening and strengthening international networking and partnership, not only with universities, but also industries through research schemes and internship programs. Oriented to academic excellence and social impact, Untirta is committed to making Banten and Indonesia as a part of the global community and participating in the making of a better world.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. Welcome to the second International Conference on Democratization in Southeast Asia. I would like to start by welcoming our distinguished guests, of course. First of all, Vice of Dean of the Faculty of Social and Political Sciences of Untirta, Dr. Rahmi Winangsi MSc, and then the Dean of Faculty of Social and Political Sciences of Untirta, Professor Dr. Ahmad Shihabuddin, all the speakers, the head of department, and also decanate, and all of the academic in attendance at today's conference. My name is Dini Hari, and I'll be your MC for this morning. It's an honor for me to be a part of such a prestigious event. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the second time the conference has been held. The first ICDeSA was held in 2019, resulting in several memorandum of understanding among universities that participated. It also marked the initial step for the establishment of the Southeast Asian Center at Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa University with the support of the Center for Southeast Asian Studies at Kyoto University. This year, the conference will continue to focus on the theme of democratization with a more exciting lineup of keynote speakers from Indonesia and other countries. But let us begin the conference by singing the Indonesian national anthem, Indonesia Raya, and followed by Mars Untirta. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. So, the next agenda is welcoming speech. The first speech will be delivered by Chairperson of the second ICDeSA. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Eli Nurlia to the stage.
Thank you, MC. Thank you for the opportunity. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Praises be to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for all His blessing that today, Tuesday, 30th of November 2023, we can attend and carry out the second international conference on democratization in Southeast Asia program. The honorable guest, the Dean of the Faculty of Social and Political Science, Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa University, Professor Dr. Haji Ahmad Sihabuddin MSI, or represented by Ibu Dr. Rahmi Winangsi MSI. Thank you for coming, Ibu. The head of the Government Science Study Program, Faculty of Social and Political Science, Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa University, Ika Arinia Indriani MA. And the speaker, Dr. Asmidar Lukman from UITM, University Teknologi Mara, Malaysia. Thank you for coming. Welcome in Indonesia. Welcome in Serang City, Banten Province. And also Dr. Wahyu Prastiawan from UIN Syarif Hidayatullah, Jakarta. Thank you for coming, Pak Wahyu Prastiawan, and welcome in University Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa. Moderator Muhammad M. Dian Hikmawan MA, the fellow lecturer of Government Science Department, Faculty of Social and Political Science, Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa. The committee who have worked very hard to run the event special for Pak Yebi Mairuddin MA, invited guests, and all international conference participants. Ladies and gentlemen, and all students, the second international conference on democratization in Southeast Asia, or ICDeSA, is an annual program of the Government Science Study Program, Faculty of Social and Political Science, Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa University. The International Conference on the Democratization in Southeast Asia was first held in 2019, then it was so unfortunate that we could not hold this program for several years because of COVID-19 pandemic. But thankfully this year we can reorganize the program, the second ICDeSA program that bring the some theme on social and political dynamic in South Asia. We are happy to inform you that we have two speakers here, Dr. Asmidar Lukman and Dr. Wahyu Prasetyawan, who will surely present the insightful material that we can further discuss together afterward. I think that all what I can deliver, and we are really sorry if there are still many shortcomings during the event. I will close the speech with a pantun. Okay, pantun in bahasa ya, Dr. Asmidar. Beli semangka ke Malaka. Oke. Pulang membawa buah mangga. Pembicara dari Jakarta dan Malaysia membuat kita semua bahagia. Okay, enjoy the event. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Give me applause to Dr. Eli Nurlia as a chairperson in this event. Ladies and gentlemen, now I'd like to invite the head of government studies and to also deliver the welcome speech. Please join me extending a warm welcome, Miss Ika Arinia Indriani, MA.
morning everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Our Honorable Dean of the Faculty of Social and Political Science, Professor Dr. Haji Ahmad Syihabuddin MSI, represented by the Vice Dean, Ibu Dr. Rahmi Winangsi, MSI. Our honorable speakers, Dr. Asmirda Lukman and Dr. Wahyu Prasetyawan, MA. Thank you for coming in Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa. I think this is the second time Dr. Wahyu Prasetyawan coming in Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa, but this is the first time for Dr. Asmirda. I hope you've got the nice sleep last night. Welcome to Indonesia and welcome to Serang. Thank you so much for agreeing to be speakers at the second international conference on democratization in Southeast Asia. This conference is the second time it has been held after the Government Science Study Program successfully held the first international conference on democratization in Southeast Asia in 2019. With the same spirit, such as expanding institutional networks and participating in scientific discussion that are currently hot in Southeast Asian region, we are proud to organize the second international conference on democratization in Southeast Asia. Thank you for the committee, Mr. Yebi, who worked very hard from yesterday. Our moderator, thank you for Mr. Dian. Thank you for the faculty, Ibu Rahmi, Professor Sihab, who have given us the opportunity. And thank you for the speakers who are willing to come to share and discuss with us, and thank you for all of the students who attended today. Hopefully, today's conference can provide new understanding regarding socio-political dynamic within the framework of diversity and humanity. Last, saya juga mau kasih pantun, saya tidak mau kalah dari Ibu Eli. Tapi tolong saya dibantu, tolong bilang cakep ya. Belum. Raga bersama belum tentu ada rasa. Siapa tahu di sana yang mampu hadirkan cinta. Selamat berdiskusi di ICDeSA. Semoga pulang membawa banyak ilmu dan cerita. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Such a great speech from Miss Arinia Ika Indriani as the chairman of Head of Government Studies. And next, finally, it's my privilege to invite the speech from the Vice Dean of FISIP Untirta. Please welcome Dr. Rahmi Winangsi.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. Unfortunately, because Professor Dr. Haji Ahmad Syihabuddin MSI, as the Dean of the Faculty of Social and Political Science, there is a rush that cannot be left behind. He couldn't attend this event. Here I will represent his remarks. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To the Honorable Rector of Untirta, Profesor Dr. Haji Fatah Sulaiman STMT, yang mungkin menyaksikan juga ya. Kemudian Profesor Dr. Haji Ahmad Syihabuddin, the Dean of the Faculty of Social and Political Science. And then Miss Dr. Asmidar Lokman from University Technology Mara, Malaysia. Thank you very much for coming. Mr. Dr. Wahyu Prasetyawan from Sarif Hidayatullah State Islamic University, Jakarta. And then Mr. Dian Hikmawan, MA, from Lecturer of Governance Science Study Program, Faculty and Social and Political Science of Untirta as moderator. The President of the Faculty of Social and Political Science of Untirta, the head of the Governance Science Programs Study, and all its staff, the Quality Assurance Team, I think, and the head of the laboratory journal within the Faculty of Social Science and Political Science of Untirta, as well as the respective lecturers, student, employee, and academic community of the University of Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa. We greet you all with respect and honor. Let us praise and thanks God for the blessing of Allah. We can all gather in good health in place that we are proud in order to attend the second international conference on democratization in Southeast Asia, organized by the Government Science Study Program, Faculty of Social and Political Science Untirta, in the term of social, political, and democracy dynamic of Southeast Asia. We all know that socio-political dynamic at the end of the 20th century were marked by the emergence of a trend of decentralization of political power from the center to the region. This comes along with strengthening of democratization demand, which assert that region also deserve to be given the authority to govern themselves, thereby being able to create equal prosperity at the region level among countries in Southeast Asia. Indonesia and Philippines are two countries with prominent decentralization experience. Authoritarianism is seen as a hallmark of governance in many Southeast Asia countries, called the government of Mr. Suharto in Indonesia, who controls state power for approximately 32 years, from 1965 until 1998, and the government of Ferdinand Marcos, who rules the Philippines from 1975 to 1986, is also considered authoritarian, highly centralistic. Meanwhile, the military junta in Myanmar under General Deng Xu, as a manifest from a form of authoritarian rule, seems to thrive in Southeast Asia. With democracy, it is expected to be a tool to overcome problem in equality, both economic and political, arising from unbalanced policies during authoritarianism. The democratization agenda is then manifested in the form of state institutional reform, which can include decentralization, strengthening local government, general election, and strengthening public participation. On closer inspection, these three policies are part of the centralization process itself. As a result, decentralization became a trend of democratization agenda in decade 90. No less than what bodies such as USAID, and then IMF and World Bank actively encourage the decentralization process in the Southeast Asia region. Decentralization itself can be interpreted as a process of delegation of power and authority from the central government to region government. The authority obtained by local government through the process of decentralization is known as region autonomy. Through decentralization, democratization goes in the form of government with high legitimacy, good government, and increased public participation can be created. Further will be presented and explored by the speaker who've been present offline. We would like to express our gratitude to all resource person and moderator who accompanied the running of the second international conference on democratization in Southeast Asia. Inshallah, provide enlightenment and increase insight for all of us. Thus, by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, we officially open this event. Okay. Thank you for all your attention. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Warm welcome to Dr. Rahmi Winangsi as a Vice Dean of Fakultas Ilmu Sosial dan Ilmu Politik Untirta. And before we going to the next agenda, before we proceed to the heart of the event, let's have a group photo session together. I would like to invite all of the keynote speakers, Dr. Wahyu, Dr. Asmidar Lukman, and as well as the Dean of Visip Untirta, Vice Dean, Ibu Dr. Rahmi Winangsi, and then the Head of Government Studies, Miss Ika Aridia, and then all of the lecturers, and please join me to the stage now. We'll take a picture first. Boleh di-expose, boleh Untirta Jawara ya, boleh. One more time, boleh more cheerful, boleh ya? Boleh more cheerful, boleh ya? Boleh kayak bebas ya? Boleh dong, izin ya. Dan teman-teman jangan khawatir ya, nanti kita juga akan melakukan sesi foto wifi, selfie bersama dengan kalian seluruh peserta konferensi di akhir acara ya, sambil mengisi link absen tentunya. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please be seated, turn back to the seat. Okay, let's come back. And ladies and gentlemen, tentunya, we are now finally ready to proceed the main agenda with the presentation and discussion with two special speakers. I will now hand over the floor to our moderator. But first, let me describe him in 2 words. He is an editor-in-chief Journal of Government and a founder of IDEA Institute, who's famous called Mr. M. Dian Hikmawan.
Okay, check. Hello everybody. No pantun. Actually, I have no pantun. Nice song, by the way. Okay, hello everybody. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Salam, namo buddhaya, salam kebajikan, rahayu. Today, I think this is my second time to moderate this conference. Actually, maybe the MC also the second time, right? Okay, hello millennials. Okay, the first thing that I would say that don't worry about language, because we designed this conference into bilingual. So maybe Bu Dr. Asmidar will deliver in English, and also Pak Dr. Wahyu will deliver in bilingual, English and Bahasa. So don't worry and give your attention, and you're ready for questions. And the first, I would like to inform that we are apologize because we have 3 speakers actually, but because Dr. Erin from Queen Belfast University in UK, she has a personal matter, so she cancel for this conference. So, but it's okay. We have 2 other speakers. So, I would say that this conference discuss about the democratization in Southeast Asia. And I think the organizer committee has campaign. So I want to introduce our campaign. Maybe you ask why this committee using the same T-shirt with the hashtag diversity and inhumanity. Maybe the organizer, please rise. Please rise. Okay. Pak Gojali, Pak Apud, okay? Maybe. So, this is our response to global situation, about the war, about the conflict, and so on and so on. So, I think this is the right time for us, as a millennial. Actually, maybe, yeah, I'm still millennial, right? Okay, and in the topics on democracy and dynamics in Southeast Asia, this is our topics for the second conference. I think we will discuss a lot of about the social gaps, inclusion and exclusion in democracy, sustainability, environment issues, and including the local politics. Maybe Pak Dr. Wahyu from Win Syarif Hidayatullah will discuss about the local politics and citizenship in Indonesia. And also the honorable speaker from Malaysia, Dr. Azmi, will discuss about the leadership and government in Malaysia. So I would like to inform our speaker CV. The first speaker, Dr. Asmidar Lokman. I don't know how to pronounce. Is it right, Dr. Asmida Lukman? I apologize if I have a wrong pronunciation. And she is from the University Teknologi Mara, Malaysia, and she's master degree from Public Administration and PA University of Liverpool, United Kingdom, and his PhD at UPM with Government and Politics Studies. And she's interested on leadership and government issue, and she's focused research about ethics in administrative, ethical leadership, administrative ethics, and Malaysia governments. I think this is our opportunity. Jadi ini kesempatan bagi para mahasiswa yang ingin mengenal lebih tentang Malaysia. Jadi nanti boleh di notes, di highlight apa pertanyaan-pertanyaan tentang Malaysia, siapa tahu nanti bisa exchange ke Bu Dr. Asmidar, di sana belajar tentang Malaysia, okay? And the second speaker, Pak Dr. Wahyu Prasetyawan, I think this is not twice, the second time, I think 3 times maybe, Pak Wahyu, because I follow your, when you're teaching social networks analysis method, yeah, it's interesting. And Pak Dr. Wahyu Prasetyawan, also, this is the second time for conference. He's lecturer at UIN Syarif Hidayatullah, and his Master of Arts in Development Studies, University of Leeds, and also his PhD at Kyoto University in Graduate School of Asian and Arab Studies. Correct me if I'm wrong. And he also awards for Ohira Masayoshi Memorial Prize in 2021 in Japan, and visiting professor at GRIPS and Kyoto. So I think he's the best speaker here to discuss about the local politics and citizenship in Indonesia. And his interests focus research on Indonesian political economy and networks in social science. So maybe I will deliver our plan on panel discussion here. The first, I would like to invite the first speaker from Malaysia to deliver her idea and concept about the Malaysian government. So for Dr. Asmi Darlokman, please join me to deliver a speech.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the invitation. I first received an invitation. It was quite quick from Dr. Ellie. She was actually inviting me earlier, maybe on the 17th of November. So I was telling her I cannot come on 17th of November because I have classes. And I was turning down her offer to come because I was quite busy during that time. But she do more than willing to change the date of the conference. Therefore, I'm here on the 29th of November. Okay. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you also to Ms. Ika for my loyal driver here, Mas Gilang. All right, thank you. And the rest of the lecturers of FISIP, okay, and Dr. Wahyu as the second speaker, all right? So I am Dr. Asmida Lokman. I've been serving in UITM Technology Mara for the last 26 years, all right? And I would like to just give a short introduction to UITM. UITM is the largest university in Malaysia. So I welcome you to come to UITM. And I am just from one of the campuses in Malaysia, that is in Negeri Sembilan, Seremban. It's a small campus compared to what you have here. So we have around 180,000 students throughout the system. Okay. For my campus only, we have about 3,000 plus. Okay. So I'm looking forward, maybe after this, then we can sort of do a collaboration between Untirta and UITM. Okay, so I look forward to that collaboration. All right, so I am going to just deliver some speech on talk on leadership and government in Malaysia. So most probably you are familiar with some of the leaders that we have in Malaysia, particularly the current Prime Minister, that is Anwar Ibrahim. Okay, I was told that he is a personal friend of Dr. Wahyu. Most probably Dr. Wahyu knows more about him compared to me. All right, so oh, this is not showing on the screen, is it? Is the slide showing on the screen? Oh, okay. All right, but they cannot see the slides. All right, okay, thank you. All right, good, thank you. All right, so Malaysia is I hope, a nice neighbor to Indonesia. All right, so Malaysia is a country which is small compared to you. We have only 37 million people compared to your 270 million people in Indonesia. But we have many Indonesian in Malaysia, about 2 million of them working. All right, so besides that, Malaysia is one of the complex mix of ethnicity in the Southeast Asia. Maybe not as complex as Indonesia, because you have more ethnicity in Indonesia. So Malaysia, actually, I'm very thankful because Malaysia has enjoyed a remarkably stable, politically, economically quite stable, and the social progress is quite stable compared to other countries in this region. So what Malaysia government is emphasizing on, it will be on the national unity, the economy, and also the foreign affairs, all right? So because this is on democratization, so I believe that you have gone through the classes for democratization, and you have actually been introduced what democratization is. So one of the highlight, or one of the, I can see the epitome of democracy will be election. Because whenever people talk about democracy, then election will always come first. That will be the first thing that they can think of. But actually, for a democratic country to be called a democracy, it requires more than just an election. Okay? That you are going for an election next year, I believe, in February. Okay? That is also a part of the democratization practice, right? So another one that is important in democracy is the elected officials, whom you elected during the election. And then you have the separation of power, right? So in a democracy, you I believe you have learned this in class, that in Malaysia we have 3 components of the government. That will be the legislative, the executive and the judiciary. But in Malaysia we have the same group of people who become the executive and the legislative. So they are the same people who are making the law, and they are actually the same people who are implementing the law. Therefore, there is some advantage and disadvantage to having the same group of people, because if you have the same group of people, then it will be much easier for you to implement any law, because you are in unison in ideas and also in what you wanted to do. But there is a potential of it being a little autocratic, because you are what we call, you have this tendency to group think, because you may be thinking of the same thing which may not be the same with what the people want. Okay, so that is an advantage to us Malaysian, but at the same time it is presenting a disadvantage to us, right? Then you have the government accountability. In democracy, not only people should be punished for their wrongdoing that they are doing, but we have to have the opportunity to punish the government as well, right? So how people punish the government? Well, through giving them the seats in the government, that you will be doing it next year in February, right? So that is a government accountability. Besides that, you can actually punish individuals of the government if you can prove them they are wrong, just like what we did to our last Prime Minister, Dato' Najib Tun Razak, when he was convicted of the corruption cases. It was a very big corruption scandal, the 1MDB. So that is considered as accountability as well, right? Then respect for civil liberties. I believe that the same with Malaysia. We have the constitution, okay, where in the constitution that it will be listing all the fundamental rights of us as a Malaysian. I believe it's the same with Indonesia. When you have your constitution, it will be stating what are the fundamental rights that you have as citizens of Indonesia. So whatever it is, whenever the government in Malaysia are doing things, we are always referring to the constitution. Whatever the government is implementing is actually implementation of the constitution itself, right? Then the next one will be a rule of law. Okay, so this is a tag. I'm not saying it's a tagline. It's just maybe it is a tagline that our current Prime Minister used to love stating this. Okay, when he was in the opposition. Okay, so he used to love to say this is a country which implemented the rule of law and not the rule of the jungle. Right? So in the democracy, one thing that you have to know that whatever it is, how free you are, how much power that you have, whether you are free to say anything or to move somewhere, there must be a limitation to it. So this limitation is consistent in what we call the rule of law, right? Then participation and representation. So in Malaysia, citizens are invited or encouraged to participate in the government policy making. It doesn't mean that they invite us to the parliament, no. It means that they usually will do a meet up. We call it a town hall session, or a day with the client session, where they will ask us, or we can tell them what we are not happy or what the government can improve, right? And then in Malaysia, because we live with multiple ethnicity, so we encourage to have pluralism. So pluralism is very important in democratization processes, because pluralism will bring you to different perspective and different idea to how you are going to implement democracy, right? And finally, I think for me it is important in a democratization is a peaceful transfer of power. Okay, you can have a government or you can have an election, but even if you have a government but you are not satisfied with the government, then you are rebelling against the government. There will be no peaceful transfer of power. This was what happened to Malaysia during the pandemic. So in the range of maybe pandemic start in 2020 until 2022, we have 3 prime ministers. Okay. So why? They are not elected by the election. We don't elect them. But because there is a power struggle between this political party, therefore they presented themselves as the rightful people to become the leader of the country. So within that period of 2022 until by the end of 2020, by the early of 2023, so we have 3 different prime ministers. So we have one prime minister that maybe lasts for 1 year, the other one is 1 year, and the current one we will see how many years that he will last it. Okay, so that sort of contradict to the idea of democratization. Instead of we live in a democratic country, but the idea of this power struggle between this politician shows that there is a threat to how democracy is being run, okay, in Malaysia, in this case of Malaysia. It may be not so threatening, but during that crisis, there was a time that we do not have a prime minister. But the government is running. So the first one was we were without a prime minister for about 2 weeks. And some people said 2 weeks is nothing. But to Malaysian, because we never had that situation, so for us having no prime minister for 2 weeks is like a disaster. All right? But still, the government goes on. So the power struggle between the politician, I would say, pose a threat to how democratization works in Malaysia. Okay. Okay, this is how the government structure in Malaysia may be slightly different to how you have in Indonesia. Okay, so in Malaysia we have the king. We call him the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, right? So the king become what we call the head of the state, right? So the prime minister that we have is the head of the government. So you might have the head of government is the president, and the head of state is the prime minister, is it? The president, all right. So we have the king as the head of the state. So during the power struggle of that from 2020 until 2022, so because we don't have an election, because it was a pandemic, so what happened was the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, the head of state, become the key decision maker to decide who will become the prime minister. So the 2 of these prime ministers that we have during the pandemic do not come from an election. It comes from the decision of the Yang di-Pertuan Agong. All right. So he will go through multiple from these political parties. They will send their leaders who supposedly to become a potential prime minister. And they had a sitting with the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, and after much of this discussion, probably with the wisdom of the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, then he appointed the prime minister, right? So after that appointment, then we have the last election. The current prime minister is the outcome of the last election we had after the pandemic, right? So we have the legislative and also the executive, like I said. the legislative and the executive in Malaysia are the same people. Okay, so if we have a election in Malaysia, we elected the legislative. Okay, so they become the member of the parliament. In Malaysia, we call it wakil rakyat. They are representing the rakyat, right? So this wakil rakyat will later on, who will win this election, that political party, they will sit together and decide who will become the prime minister. All right? And then the prime minister will choose all his cabinet ministers. So they become the executive. Right? So they are actually the people who make the law, and they are also the people who are implementing the law. Right? However, the legislative also is containing other wakil rakyat who have won the election. So we have in Malaysia 222 members of parliament. Right? So they are the people who make the law in Malaysia. Then you have the judiciary. So these are the separation of power that we are implementing in Malaysia as a part of the requirement to make sure that it is democratic enough, because each of these branches cannot be intervened, right? So they have exclusive power to themselves. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 10 prime ministers since our independence back in 1957. So this is our first prime minister. So our first prime minister was actually a royalty. He is a son of a king in Malaysia. So he is known as the father of independence. So under him, because he is very a diplomatic person, so he has helped a lot in Malaysia achieving its independence from the British. So what he did was, during his time, because after the British left, because there are a lot of things to be done in Malaysia, because we are very underdeveloped, all right? So what he did was, he came up, his government, in fact, came up with a long-term plan, maybe a short-term, maybe a mid-term plan. So this is what we have, the Malaya plan. So currently, it has continued. Currently, we are at the 12th Malaysian plan. So all this plan is all about developing Malaysia, all right? So during the first few years of the independence, this is where a lot of the government sectors or the government agencies for development are being created, okay, in Malaysia. So this is the second Prime Minister was Abdul Razak Hussain. Okay. If you have gone through the names of the Prime Minister, so Abdul Razak Hussain is the father of Najib Razak, all right? So we have politicians who are Prime Ministers, and they have sons or they have children who become politicians as well, all right? So Abdul Razak Hussain introduced a lot of agencies that is helping the Bumiputra. So in Malaysia, we have this term we call the Bumiputra, that is the son of the soil, which means consisted of the Malays and also some of the native ethnicity, most of them in Sabah and Sarawak in the Borneo island, right? So during the Abdul Razak Hussain, where he created a lot of programs and projects to actually give and boost the economic status of the Bumiputra. Okay. However, it's still going on until now. We have this, what we call a specialty to the Bumiputra, which is sometimes become quite, I'm not going to say it's controversial. It is like people are not satisfied with it, but they don't say it clearly. It is like an undercurrent thing that is going on, right? So we have the third Prime Minister, that is Hussein On, and then he is more or less balanced in his approach compared to Tunku Abdul Rahman and Tun Abdul Razak, right? All right, I think you know our fourth Prime Minister very well, Mahathir Mohamad, okay? And he also became our seventh Prime Minister after that, okay? This is, he served the longest, okay, the longest period of years as Prime Minister. He became Malaysian Prime Minister for 22 years, all right? So currently what Malaysia is trying to implement as a law is with the current government, they are going to introduce a law which only allow Prime Minister to serve for 2 terms, which means that the maximum that you can go is 10 years. So that is probably to counter the 22 years that has been done under Mahathir Mohamad administration. So under Mahathir Mohamad, there is a lot of development that went on. So Malaysia went into heavy industries. We have our own car industries, the Proton. However, it is no longer a national industry anymore because some of the shares has been sold. So he did a lot of long-term development plan. And the most important, I would say, that he has introduced what we call the multimedia super corridor. This is opening the participation of many Malaysian companies to create or to modernize the use of information technology. So most of the government services currently, we are doing what we call the e-government. So you can have all these services on an e-platform, right? The next one, Prime Minister is Abdullah Ahmad Badawi. Compared to 22 years of Mahathir Mohamad, Abdullah Ahmad Badawi is quite different. The approach is very different because he is focusing more on how to develop human morally, okay? Because we have a lot of economic development, multimedia development, all sorts of material development. So when it comes to Abdullah Ahmad Badawi, he is insisting that we have too much of material development. We need to revert to come back to how we are going to have a humanistic development. So during his administration, he did a lot on programs on morality, on integrity, and anti-corruption. So many of the programs or projects on anti-corruption today actually was initiated during the time of Abdullah Ahmad Badawi administration. So it is something that is it is a long-term development project, right? Okay, then we have our famous or infamous Prime Minister, Najib Abdul Razak. Okay, he is the son of the second Prime Minister. Okay, he is charismatic as a person individually, and he is an authoritative decision maker. He actually done a lot for Malaysia in terms of developing economically. However, his mistake was just that he is involved in the 1MDB corruption scandal. Okay, and after years of trial in the courts, then he was found guilty, and he was currently serving his prison terms, right? So the next one is our Prime Minister during the pandemic. So he did serve around 1 year plus. What he did was just nothing much because he is dealing with the pandemic of COVID-19 during that time. and most of his policy was about how to rescue Malaysian from this pandemic, and most of the budget that is done in Malaysia is focusing on helping the people. However, even though it is the pandemic, because people have a lot of time they can spend at home, so they also have a lot of time to criticize the government, okay? Because you don't have anything to do. You cannot go to the university, you cannot work, so what else do? You criticize the government, right? So he had a very, I would say he has a very bad time in defending himself on what he did during the pandemic. So, but he did quite well because people call him Abba. Okay, it's sort of an endearment of a father figure, right? And then we have another prime minister during the pandemic. Now, he also served about 1 year something, or maybe months. He is actually just taking whatever position that has been done by the previous prime minister, and he carries on until the end of the pandemic. So these are two of the prime ministers that we do not elect, but he was selected by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong because the time was very critical, because it is pandemic, we cannot hold an election. So this is what they have done. To me, they have done quite a good job just to maintain the economy and political stability of Malaysia, even though they are heavily criticized by the people. Okay? And then we have the current Prime Minister, the 10th Prime Minister, Anwar Ibrahim. Okay. He was a part of the government before he was sacked by Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, and he spent about maybe 10 years in jail because of some of the cases that is brought against him. So this is our current Prime Minister. So he supports liberal and progressive values. So I believe Dr. Wahyu knows this. Okay. So what he did is he is trying, because of his liberal values, so he always tries to collaborate with other people and find what are the ideas from other people. I think that is a part of his democratization strategy. Yeah. Okay, so this is what unique about Malaysia. I believe Indonesian also have their uniqueness, but this is the uniqueness of Malaysia, that we have multicultural society, we have a system of governance, we have the Bumiputra policy, even though it is quite controversial, all right? We have a consensus-based leadership, where you choose, because we are only electing the legislative, so they will elect their own prime minister. And then we are emphasizing more on Islamic principles due to the majority of population are Muslim, right? So this is what has been criticized onto the Malaysian leadership. Okay? So the criticism on the Malaysian leadership is the lack of transparency, okay, on most of the decisions made by the government. The lack of transparency in terms of telling the people what actually the government are planning and what actually have been done by the government. Okay, so people are demanding that the Malaysian government becomes more transparent. All right, because there is a lack of transparency, therefore the Malaysians see that this is an erosion of the democratic institution. Okay, because if you are not sharing with us the information, then how can you claim you are a democratic institution, right? And then there is a lack of economic reforms. We have many reforms, but the reforms are short-term or mid-term. So we are lacking in a long-term economic reforms. And finally, and then we have the environmental negligence. There are a lot of illegal development somewhere in the jungle, and jungle are being leveled without the acknowledgement from the government. And finally, the most criticism that is Malaysian government get is the inefficient governance. Okay, despite we have so many programs in Malaysia on improving the governance, but still it is not enough, particularly in the enforcement of law, right? Okay, so finally, where do Malaysia goes? What's the future of Malaysia? Okay, with the current Malaysian, the Prime Minister, the 10th Prime Minister, so going forward means that Malaysia has to look into its economic policies, right? So what the government, the current government doing under Anwar Ibrahim as the leader, so he has introduced actually 7 key performance indicator. Okay, so this 7 key performance indicator his government plan to achieve within 10 years. Okay, what does that look like? He is aiming that Malaysia become top 30 in the world economy. So he planned to do that. His government planned to do that. Okay, his government also planned to become the top 12 in the government competitive index. All right. So he also planned that there are 60% of women participation in industry and also in government. Currently, we have a little under 30%. So we are trying to work up so that there will be 60% of the involvement in the capacity of the workforce in Malaysia. So the government also planned to become the top 25 in the corruption perception index. Currently, we are at number 61. So I am personally in doubt how that can be done, but we have never, because we have never even go at the 40s. We are always somewhere in the 50s up till 60, maybe ranks 50, 51, 52. We were never at the 40s, so I'm not sure how his government are going to become the top 25, right? So he also is introducing to revise the basic salary in Malaysia. Currently, the basic salary or the minimum salary in Malaysia is 1,200 ringgit Malaysia. So his government is trying to push it until 1,500 ringgit Malaysia. So everybody who is working in Malaysia must receive a basic salary of 1,500 ringgit Malaysia. So that is what his government is trying to do moving forward. So we will have to let the time decide whether this can be done or not, right? So the current Prime Minister, Anwar Ibrahim, if you remember, he is famous with his slogan of reforms. His idea is always about reformasi, okay? So because he is, we can say, the father of reformation, reforms, so I am looking at what he should do, what his government should do is to have a reform agenda and to have a social reforms. These social reforms can come in the forms of education, because I believe any reforms will only work when you have education. If people are not educated, they would not even support what the reforms are. Okay, and then you have the technological advancements, particularly now we have millennials are very active in social media. So in giving the freedom for people to use social media as their platform of freedom of speech or freedom of ideas, but there are still some limitations that the government will have to look at, right? And finally, I believe that the thing that the Anwar Ibrahim government should be doing is on maintaining the good relationship we have with our Southeast Asian neighbors, particularly with Indonesia. I believe he is a very good friend to Pak Joko, right? So that is something that we should be maintaining on the foreign relations, right? So that is to maintain a good diplomatic relationship, not only with ASEAN members, but also all the ASEAN countries, also with European or the American nations, right? So I believe that is what I'm going to share with you. Later on, if there is any question, I will take that question. Thank you.
Okay, check. Okay, thank you for Dr. Asmida for the speech. Okay. Hello guys, are you still on? Okay, before we continue to the next speech, maybe I have a summarize from the speech from Dr. Asmida. The key to understand democratization in Malaysia is about the development in economic policy, and also now they are focused on the reforms under Anwar Ibrahim Prime Ministry, and also I think it's a similar problem with Indonesia about the corruption, about the participation, the lack of the democratic institution, and so on and so on. So I also want to announce that jadi kalian harus bersiap-siap nanti kalau punya pertanyaan, karena dari komite mempersiapkan souvenir. Nah, ini penting ya. It's important to announce ya. Bagi 5 penanya ya. Jadi tolong disiapkan. So, we continue to the next speech from Dr. Wahyu Prasetyawan. He will give a speech discuss about the local politics and citizenship in Indonesia. So, Dr. Wahyu, please join.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Pertama-tama saya I'd like to ask permission from my colleague Dr. Asmida that I like to talk both Bahasa and in English, because I think it's easier for me to talk in Bahasa, even though I've been trained to talk, not only to talk but also to think in English. But I think most of the audience here are, I think, kind of my students, so I think it's easier for them to listen, to understand if I talk in Bahasa. Is it okay? Okay, thank you. I'd like to express my gratitude to Ibu Eli, committee, Dean, and other person who invited me to talk, to share my experience, I think, rather than what I thought about Indonesian democratization, because during this time, if we are talking about democratization in Indonesia, is not, I think, it's not, it's not good atmosphere. I'm sorry to say that. So, before I'm going to deliver my talk, I'd like to ask one question to the audience. Is that okay? Okay, I'll ask in Bahasa Indonesia. To all of you, kalau Anda disuruh pilih 2 pilihan, pertama demokratisasi dan kedua pertumbuhan ekonomi, mana yang Anda pilih? Mau pilih yang mana? Demokrasi atau ekonomi? Saya mau tahu yang pilih demokrasi siapa, yang pilih ekonomi siapa. Pertanyaannya susah atau gampang sebetulnya? Sebetulnya gampang dijawab. Kalau saya ditanya, saya pasti pilih demokrasi. Mudah-mudahan ini bukan sabotase. Karena sebelum saya sampai ke sana, saya ingin kasih sedikit talk mengenai kenapa demokrasi itu lebih penting daripada pertumbuhan ekonomi. Kalau pertumbuhan ekonomi aja kita bisa seperti Cina, gitu. Kita atau seperti Korea Selatan sebelum peristiwa Gwangju. Gitu. Anda udah nonton film drama Korea yang judulnya Taxi Driver belum? Kira-kira kayak begitu. Saya kan tadi dikasih tahu sama Mas Dian, ini milenial semua nih di sini. Jadi saya rasa yang relate dengan kalian itulah ya drakor gitu. Kalau drakor itu ya itu Taxi Driver itu adalah film bagus mengenai bagaimana demokrasi itu lebih penting daripada pertumbuhan ekonomi. Kenapa bisa begitu? Karena kalau demokrasi jalan, hak-hak kita itu dijamin sama pemerintah. Karena tema kita kan demokratisasi kan. Jadi kalau ada pertumbuhan ekonomi, kita bisa hidup sejahtera. Tapi hak kita sebagai warga negara itu bisa dicederai oleh penguasa. Hak kita kan banyak ya. Hak untuk berpikir bebas, hak untuk berpendapat, hak untuk berserikat gitu ya. Any kind of perlindungan diri, perlindungan properti itu juga dijamin dalam satu sistem yang lebih demokrasi, sistem yang lebih demokratis. Siapa yang lahir di sini tahun sebelum tahun 98 ada nggak yang lahir sebelum tahun? Rata-rata kalian lahir setelah 98 ya? Tahu apa yang terjadi tahun 98? Ada apa di situ? Mahasiswa minta demokrasi kepada pemerintah yang berkuasa. Waktu itu adalah Pak Harto kan. Gitu. Jadi demokrasi yang sekarang kalian terima ini kebebasan berpendapat, kebebasan dalam banyak hal. Itu bukan sesuatu yang given. It's not something that come out of the blue to you. Some people doing hard job to get what we had today as a democratic country. Dan ini harus kita jaga sama-sama gitu. Jadi mudah-mudahan ini pesannya sampai ya, sama dengan, karena kalau kita bicara dua hal from the talk Dr. Asmida, we have big problem about transparency and corruption. We are in the same level actually, in the middle. If we look at the Transparency International, Indonesia and Malaysia are equally the same. In the middle, we call it middling. Never go up, always in the middle because of the corruption. Why corruption is so massive in Indonesia? I think more than 200 local, the district head and regions and mayor who are elected by election are committed corruption. More than half of Indonesian regency and cities. So more than half. Can you imagine? More than half of our elected officials are committed corruption because of maybe money politics in election and others. So I'm going to return to my talk. Presentasinya gimana? Belum keluar ya? Sorry, ada gangguan teknis. Bukan sabotase. Nah, ini udah masuk. But I don't know how to operate this one. Udah tua, generasi dinosaurus. Oke. Banyak ya? Ya, oke. Itu, di sini aja, oke. Oke. Oke, thank you. Jadi saya lihat situ aja ya. Oke. Oke. Terima kasih. Inilah bedanya generasi yang lebih muda dengan generasi yang sudah tua. Saya judulnya adalah Local Politics and Citizenship in Indonesia. Why I choose this topic? Because democracy in Indonesia is, well, kita mendapat tantangan, a big challenge ya, demokrasi Indonesia. Kalau kita lihat data di International Economics Intelligence Unit, kita itu ada di angka 6,5 sampai 6,7. Itu artinya demokrasi kita sebenarnya flow demokrasi, jadi cacat. Demokrasi kita tuh masih cacat. Ya. Cacatnya di mana? Salah satunya adalah di budaya. Nah, dengan kaitannya budaya demokrasi ini saya akan bicara mengenai citizenship. Karena itu essence dari demokrasi itu sebetulnya ada pada poin di election, as Dr. Asmidar mentioned, is only one of the features of democracy. Yang lainnya masih banyak lagi. Yang lainnya banyak lagi, dan yang paling pentingnya adalah budaya demokrasi, political culture yang ada di kita. Gitu ya. Kita punya banyak etnik, punya banyak segala perbedaan agama, ethnicity, kemudian juga perbedaan gap dalam hal pembangunan Indonesia Timur, Indonesia Barat, dan banyak, if not, termasuk juga di Jawa, termasuk juga bahkan di Banten kan. Banten Utara tempat saya tinggal, di Tangerang Selatan, itu ya Jakarta gitu ya. It look like Jakarta. We never considered as part of Banten actually. We consider as part of Jaksel. Particularly Jaksel, Jakarta Selatan. Sorry Dr. Asmir, it's kind of slang of the youth in Indonesia mentioned that Jaksel is the most advanced youth group in Jakarta actually. So the people in South Tangerang Selatan are closer to Jakarta Selatan rather than to Banten. Not many people are going from Tangerang Selatan want to go to Serang actually. Very far. It's closer go to Blok M. Right? If you are in Tangerang, in Ciputat, what do you want to choose? Going to Serang, or to Blok M? Blok M. So I'm right. So I'm going to talk about the category of state and then categorizing the state. I think all of you already received this kind of lecture in the classes. I mean, your lecture, the honorable lecturer mentioned about the Weberian type of states, 3 types: administrative state, and second, the bureaucratic polity, and the third, what we call patrimonialism. This is what we call ideal type, because it's not exist actually, it's just for category. And where Indonesia Indonesia has generally been categorized as a bureaucratic polity because we have a long history from the Dutch colonial time until our independence, in which bureaucracy is the backbone of our government. Tapi ada bedanya nih, kita masih punya semacam clientelism. Harusnya kan birokratik politik kalau kita ikutin Weberian itu harusnya rasional gitu ya. Di Indonesia nggak jadi tuh, nggak rasional, nggak ada. Jadi kita tuh in between ya, antara birokratik, tapi kita juga masih ada patron client gitu ya. Masih ada kayak gitu. Kira-kira kalau mau digambarkan secara sederhana, posisi state, karena sebelum kita kalau bicara demokrasi kita bicara 2 hal ya. Pertama kita bicara state dulu, kedua kita bicara nanti soal citizennya gitu ya. Karena citizen sama state ini kan berinteraksi gitu ya. Kita harus paham dulu what kind of state that Indonesia is gitu. Kemudian kita selama Orde Baru, kawan-kawan teknokrat ya, I was part of it dulu ya, bukan yang sekarang, bukan rejim yang sekarang, rejim yang dulu setelah reformasi, tapi rejim yang dulu I'm part of it as a technocrat gitu ya. itu memang kita ada teknokratik, itu ada space yang diproteksi, punya semacam sedikit otonomi karena diberikan kebebasan oleh Presiden Soeharto untuk bergerak. Gitu. Kita tumbuh dengan baik menjadi negara yang pertumbuhan ekonominya bisa mengentaskan kemiskinan dari 40% sampai 11% ketika Pak Harto jatuh. Itu tidak banyak di negara di dunia yang bisa menghasilkan itu ya. Bisa mengurangi kemiskinan secara drastis dalam jangka waktu 30 tahun. Pertumbuhan ekonomi 7% rata-rata. Tapi kan kalian nggak puas, saya nggak puas. Karena apa? Nggak ada demokrasi waktu itu. Jadi waktu Pak Harto jatuh, memang dia jatuh waktu zaman krisis. Tapi kan sebelumnya Indonesia tuh makmur sebetulnya. Sebelum saya jadi dosen, saya kan kerja di perusahaan swasta. Kenapa? Karena gajinya lebih besar. Begitu krisis, saya pikir saya jadi dosen aja, jadi pegawai negeri. Karena gajinya kecil tapi lebih stabil. Iya kan teman-teman saya yang kerja di swasta, di perbankan itu pada apa? Termasuk saya juga nggak punya pekerjaan kan waktu itu. I'm fired gitu ya. Dirumahkan. Daripada saya dirumahkan bingung, saya pikir ya udah saya ke Jepang aja sekolah, jadinya ambil S3. Jadi salah satu alasan saya sekolah juga karena saya udah nggak punya pekerjaan waktu itu. Jadi saya teruskan kuliah ke Jepang. Karena saya dipecat ya, bukan dipecat, hampir ya. Sebelum dipecat saya pergi duluan gitu. Jadi nggak sempat dipecat jadinya. Perusahaan tuh nggak sempat pecat saya, jadi karena saya udah kabur ke Jepang untuk sekolah S3. Jadi saya balik lagi ke sini, jadi Indonesia itu posisinya sampai sekarang ya menurut saya itu masih berusaha untuk menjadi negara modern, tapi secara politik karena persoalan kultural, persoalan budaya politik itu kita masih susah menghilangkan patron klien gitu ya. Saya nggak mau bilang soal political dynasty itu kan salah satu features yang seharusnya nggak ada dalam negara demokrasi yang modern kan. Kenapa nggak boleh ada dia? Karena kan harusnya sistemnya meritokrasi seperti yang dibilang Ibu Dr. Asmedar tadi. Singapura itu walaupun less demokratik, tapi dia meritokrasinya jalan. Malaysia better than Indonesia meritokrasinya. Di kita, ya Anda tahu sendiri ya, jadi saya nggak usah jelasin. Kita masih punya problem gitu. Artinya orang seharusnya dipilih berdasarkan kemampuannya, bukan karena dia bapaknya siapa gitu. Bukan karena dia ibunya siapa gitu ya. Ini kan soal yang standar-standar aja ya dalam ilmu politik, betul nggak? Soal standar-standar aja gitu, Jik. Ini soal logika lurus aja gitu loh. Soal kita melihat kenapa meritokrasi harus jalan. Karena di tempat negara saya tinggal, saya mengajar cukup lama di Jepang, sekolah dari tahun 2000, lulus tahun 2006, 2007 saya ikut mengajar di GRIPS. Itu di sana walaupun sistemnya bagaimana, meritokrasinya jalan gitu. Orang dipilih berdasarkan kemampuannya. Perdana Menteri memilih wakil memilih menteri gitu ya dari partai yang sama, tapi selain political capability-nya juga kompetensi untuk menangani suatu masalah itu jadi pertimbangan utama gitu ya. Bukan karena hal yang lain. Makanya kita kan kalau nggak ada sistem meritokrasi nanti Anda jadi mahasiswa saya gitu. Terus Anda kenal sama Pak Dian misalnya, terus bilangin dong supaya dapat nilainya bagus, kan gitu kan kalau bukan meritokrasi gitu. Kalau meritokrasi kan saya seharusnya sih kalau saya nilai ujian Anda itu, namanya nggak boleh ada tuh. Jadi nggak ada nama, nggak ada apa, jadi saya periksa kertas yang saya nggak tahu tuh saya lagi menilai siapa. Gitu. Cuman kita kan belum bisa begitu. Yang paling bagus tuh sebetulnya saya maunya begitu, udah kalau ujian, semua namanya nggak ada gitu loh. Jadi saya periksa, nggak tahu tuh siapa tuh yang saya periksa gitu. Kan biasanya kalau jadi dosen saya cuma inget 2 kan. Yang paling pinter sama yang paling nakal gitu loh. Atau kalau perempuan yang paling cantik lah gitu kira-kira. Kan kalau nggak ada namanya saya lebih jujur kan, lebih fair kan gitu. Tapi kan itu nggak mungkin, belum mungkin ya. Jadi kita balik lagi. Karakteristik negara kita yang masih setengah antara tengah-tengah antara administratif dengan patrimonialism itu masih ada gitu sampai sekarang. Jadi reformasi yang kita jalankan tahun 98 itu berjalan baik gitu ya. tapi juga masih menyisakan karakter-karakter pemerintahan lama. Gitu. Itu nanti terlihat di local elections that we had. Jadi most of the studies of Indonesian local politics suggest that the genuine democratic accountability is often lacking due to various issues that typically block democratic consolidation in young democracy like Indonesia, such as widespread corruption that I have mentioned earlier, the dominance of powerful patronage politics. Why Banten, one of the most famous example of it. I'm not saying this, it's the book that I quoted saying this. And ethno-religious polarization in Jakarta election. So I'm quote my friends, Marcus Mitzner, Ed Aspinall, Detman, and Yves Waburton. All of them are my friends. So if one of you are disagree with this opinion, so talk to them. I'm just quoting them. Yeah. This finding resonate with the studies of national politics, showing the pervasiveness of clientelistic linkage between voters and politicians, and the inadequacy of political party to provide meaningful choices for voters. So, jadi kira-kira kita udah demokrasi nih tahun 98, tapi kita masih menyisakan problem lama gitu ya. We still carry out the features of Indonesian politics that we had in the past. Makanya persoalan kita, the problem we had is political culture. Karena yang lain kita udah bisa. Prosedur oke, kebebasan kita bisa ngomong apa aja sekarang. Tapi political culture because it's deep in our heart gitu, in our daily habit itu masih susah ya. Jadi kita masih punya problem berat. Nah, dengan gambaran Indonesian state seperti yang tadi saya bilang, sekarang kita coba lihat citizenship itu kira-kira gimana ya. Saya ambil beberapa pengertian mengenai citizenship gitu, ideal type, misalnya seperti Hannah Arendt definition of citizenship is the right to have rights. Jadi ini Hannah Arendt. Citizenship then refers to a relationship between a person and political community characterized by mutual rights. Jadi ada mutual rights and obligations and activated by the role of this person plays in the political life of that community. Jadi ini kita dilihat sebagai polity, sebagai political community gitu ya. This relationship is ideally enshrined in law, defining the basic right of the citizen concerning property, identity, security, and welfare, and protecting individual citizens against the state, as well as against fellow citizens. Kenapa ini penting? Dalam studi-studi ekonomi politik, political economy, I am political economist, state itu nggak selalu bagus. Jadi state itu bisa membunuh, bisa killing people, bisa menekan kita gitu. Tapi pada saat yang sama pertumbuhan ekonomi juga dilakukan oleh state juga gitu ya. Janus face, Anda tahu nggak Janus face? Jadi state itu kayak gitu ya, kayak Janus face. Ada dua muka state itu. Ada muka yang Janus face of the state. Jadi state do good things, but also do bad things gitu. Kalau kayak di Korea, North Korea is kind of bad state. Gitu. Di Indonesia, good state or bad state? I'm asking you, what do you think about Indonesian state? Is it good state or bad state? Well, both. Actually both. Yeah. Kalau kita lihat teman-teman saya yang meneliti tentang agraria, konflik agraria, yang apa ya? Yang membentengi perusahaan-perusahaan yang encroach their land and taking local peoples or adat community lands, itu siapa? State apparatus kan. Jadi saya nggak tahu, mudah-mudahan sudah diajarin ya sama dosen-dosen di sini ya bahwa state has two faces gitu. Saya sih setuju state bagus gitu ya, tapi juga kita harus hati-hati bahwa state juga bisa melakukan hal-hal yang against us as citizens. Harta kita bisa diambil tuh, nyawa kita bahkan bisa diambil juga, kebebasan kita bisa diambil gitu, oleh state. Kalau state-nya konyol ya, tapi mudah-mudahan Indonesia setelah reformasi state-nya lebih bagus daripada Indonesia zaman Soeharto. Waktu zaman Soeharto saya udah mahasiswa. Baca bukunya Pramodyananta Tatur itu nggak boleh. Buku yang judulnya adalah Anak Semua Bangsa. Pramodyananta Tatur. Ya. Kalau kan itu buku dilarang sama Jaksan Agung. Kan mahasiswa gitu, kalau dilarang kita pengen tahu kan. Jadi buku itu beredar dari tangan ke tangan lewat fotokopi. Kita tahu nggak risikonya? Tahu. Kalau ketangkap kita baca buku itu, di sel. Masuk penjara tuh 1 hari. Gitu. Saya pernah sehari gitu. Sehari doang. Mudah-mudahan nggak lagi. Jadi gitu. Nah, jadi antara ideal type mengenai citizenship dengan praktisnya itu ada very big gap ya. Jadi kalau saya dalam bahasa Inggris saya bacakan begini, the widening of political and civil right that we had gitu after the fall of authoritarian regime in Indonesia, Soeharto I mean, has had led to a much livelier public sphere, a freer and more active public debate and intensified political participation. Partisipasi politik kita banyak, tinggi ya. Protest movement in Indonesia and also in Malaysia and Thailand, for example, red and versus yellow protests has succeeded in organizing big protests and challenging ruling elites. Jadi the last big demonstration that we had, Undang-Undang Cipta Kerja ya, but we lose because Undang-Undang Cipta Kerjanya still go on as it is. Saya termasuk salah satu orang yang mengusulkan sebetulnya adanya undang-undang omnibus law. Yang saya nggak tahu di tengah jalan dia ditunggangin. Ya. Itu yang bikin, terutama kan saya sekarang banyak meneliti tentang lingkungan. Itu soal lingkungan itu sama sekali berbeda dengan apa yang kita pikirin gitu. Makanya itu jadi persoalan besar ya. Saya mau masuk kasus yang di Riau ya. Jadi ini ada 2 cases yang saya ambil untuk memahami citizenship di Indonesia. Pertama, kasus Riau Merdeka. Kasus Riau Merdeka ini tahun 2000-an gitu, waktu Ibu Megawati jadi presiden. Indonesia sudah masuk mulai demokrasi, pemerintahan itu tidak terlalu kuat, weaker than Soeharto government. Jadi Megawati administration was weaker than Soeharto's. Kemudian orang-orang di, saya meneliti Riau ini sejak tahun 2000 sampai sekarang masih meneliti Riau. Buku ya saya udah bilang sama Ibu Kelly, kita baru publish book tentang Riau itu open access. Nanti bisa saya kasih linknya untuk di download ya. Itu di Riau banyak sekali persoalan di sana. Dan itu menyangkut juga salah satunya soal citizenship. Yang pertama saya gambarkan bahwa local people in Riau itu cukup berhasil ya untuk meminta haknya dia atas pengelolaan resources, oil ya, minyak. Dia dapat 10%. Tapi pergulatan ini untuk mendapatkan hak orang Riau terkait dengan bagaimana dia mengelola itu juga berdarah-darah sebetulnya. Jadi mereka ingin 10% share oil of exploration. Successful karena ada 2 tokoh besar yang kebetulan saya secara personal kenal. Saya nggak begitu dekat dengan Pak Tabrani Ram, tapi saya kenal baik dengan Bang Al-Azhar. Waktu saya penelitian tentang Riau Merdeka, informan saya itu Bang Al-Azhar. Walaupun saya lama di Riau sampai sekarang, saya nggak bisa pantun sampai sekarang. Kalau di Riau itu apa-apa sudah berpantun, saya nggak bisa sampai sekarang. Cakap Melayu Riau juga nggak bisa sampai sekarang ya. Jadi ini cukup berhasil. Ini adalah salah satu contoh contoh bagaimana citizens di sana ya, local people in Riau itu bisa berhasil mendapatkan haknya. Karena waktu zaman Orde Baru itu eksplorasi minyak di Riau itu hampir semuanya itu pergi ke pemerintah pusat. Jadi orang Riau tuh dapatnya sedikit. Orang Riau merasa itu nggak adil. Karena ini kan minyaknya punya saya kan. Dieksplorasi di wilayah Riau. Nah, ketika ada pergantian rejim, mereka mulai mengusahakan supaya dapat bagi hasil segala macam gitu ya, terkait. Saya banyak ngomong dengan Bang Al-Azhar ya soal ini, dan salah satu kesimpulan yang bisa memperbaiki kehidupan di Riau itu adalah pendirian politeknik perminyakan di sana. Karena memang tenaga-tenaga terdidik untuk Riau yang mengelola minyak di Riau itu semuanya dari Jawa. Itu jadi persoalan tuh, karena orang Riau yang kita sebut sebagai putra daerah, native son gitu ya, putra daerah maksudnya ngerti ya, itu nggak bisa, dia kalau kerja jadi satpam di sana, karena pendidikannya kurang, nggak ada pendidikan perminyakan di sana, jadi harus ada politeknik. Saya banyak ngobrol ya, secara personal dengan Bang Al-Azhar mengenai ini, dan itu cukup berhasil. Ini ini penting nih. Their demand was framed under a just economic right. Jadi hak ekonomi itu adalah bagian dari citizenship. Gitu. Jadi kalau Anda punya resources, Anda nggak kebagian, itu nggak adil namanya ya. Berarti citizenship Anda itu nggak dihargai. Nah ini ada kasus yang kedua juga yang saya sedang teliti, yang baru di buku yang akan saya bagikan itu mengenai konservasi di Rantau Baru. Rantau Baru itu desa tua, di mana terletak di Pelalawan, sebuah kabupaten di Riau. Ini masyarakat di Pelalawan menarik karena dia mengikuti garis matrilineal ini tempatnya ya di Pelalawan. Itu mengikuti garis matrilineal seperti Minangkabau. Agak panjang ceritanya, tapi saya nggak akan cerita soal itu. Yang ingin saya ceritakan adalah bahwa di sini permasalahan yang pertama, the first gitu. Jadi di Riau kan banyak perusahaan kelapa sawit ya. Perusahaan kelapa sawit ini memperluas area lahan untuk penanamannya. Itu ada yang legal, ada yang ilegal gitu loh, saya ingin bilang. Nah ini banyak terkait dengan tanah-tanah yang dimiliki oleh komunitas adat termasuk Desa Rantau Baru. Gitu. Jadi persoalan ini persoalan penting karena orang Rantau Baru hidupnya memang dari lahannya dan dari perairan yang dia miliki gitu. Seperti gambar yang tadi dong. Kita lihat di sana itu ekosistem akan rusak kalau lingkungan, air di sana kan hidupnya tuh dari air tawar ya di Sungai Batanghari. Itu kalau lingkungan ekosistem sekitarnya rusak, ikannya juga hilang tuh. Padahal penghidupan orang di Rantau Baru, masyarakat desa Rantau Baru itu setelah dia nggak bisa ladang berpindah, Sweden culture gitu ya, Sweden agriculture, itu dia harus rely on fisheries. Tapi ikannya juga ini hilang karena lingkungan sekitarnya rusak, karena masuk perusahaan-perusahaan besar yang mengeksploitasi lahannya untuk digunakan penanaman kelapa sawit. I'm sorry to say to our neighbor ya, karena saya riset tentang Riau itu, tentang peatland in Riau itu didorong karena we export haze to our neighbor, Malaysia and Singapore. We have kind of collaboration with university in Japan, in Kyoto, and actually we have a partner from NUS, but he left. I don't know what happened with him, because too critical maybe, so he left. Jadi kita balik lagi ke sini bahwa persoalan komunitas adat yang ada di Riau itu sebetulnya bisa di-frame dari persoalan citizenship. Karena mereka punya hak kan, hak untuk hidup punya kan, Hak yang paling mendasar di demokrasi kan hak kita untuk hidup dengan cara kita, dengan cara yang kita inginkan itu harus diproteksi oleh negara gitu. Nah di Pelalawan nggak terjadi gitu. Kalau Riau Merdeka itu bisa terjadi karena gerakannya besar. Kalau ini nggak terjadi karena cuma satu desa. Jadi negara gampang tuh, udah ini kamu nggak usah macam-macam gitu. Kamu ikut aja gitu. Perusahaan bahkan juga memberikan pressure ya terhadap local people gitu. Jadi kalau kita bicara citizenship in Indonesia in general gitu terkait dengan democratization, only one keyword I think is paradox, kind of paradox. We have democratization but our right as a citizens belum sepenuhnya kita bisa dapatkan gitu. Sekarang saya tanya, Anda takut nggak kalau sekarang kritik pemerintah secara terbuka? Ini pertanyaan saya yang dijawab. Coba dijawab. Anda takut nggak kalau mengkritik pemerintah secara terbuka sekarang? Pemerintah kamu nggak benar nih melakukan ini itu gitu. Berani nggak? Takut. Kalau takut berarti Anda nggak merdeka tuh. Apalagi digital platform Anda bisa diserang kan, bisa didoxing gitu ya. Nah itu artinya kita nggak demokratis dong. Gitu. Jadi ya saya akan tutup dengan pertanyaan ini, jadi bahwa satu keywordnya ya, kita sebagai citizens ini punya hak. Kenapa? Kenapa Anda merasa punya hak? Hak Anda tuh harus diproteksi oleh negara sebagai citizen. Karena Anda bayar pajak, men. Iya kan, sis? Bro and sis. You are taxpayer. Jadi kalau kita taxpayer, pembayar pajak, hak-hak kita terus dilindungi oleh negara. Gitu. Termasuk hak untuk berpikir berbeda dengan apa yang diinginkan oleh pemerintah. Gitu. Jadi nggak usah takut, karena itu dijamin oleh undang-undang. Iya sih Pak, nggak takut Pak, cuman besok didoxing kita Pak. HP-nya di hijack. Itu kejadian, teman saya kejadian yang waktu itu ribut banget. Dia itu keras banget soal undang-undang cipta kerja ya. Kalau saya kan nggak keras-keras banget sih, cuman nggak setuju aja gitu. Kalau dia vokal di media, di televisi, di sosial media, jadi gampang ditandain. Kalau saya kan nggak setuju, saya datangin teman-teman saya tuh, lu jangan gini-gini gitu dong. Lebih personal approach gitu ya. Walaupun nggak berhasil juga sih sebetulnya. Kira-kira saya tutup di situ, sampai di sini. Terima kasih atas perhatiannya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay. Maybe I follow the Pak Dr. Wahyu style. Oke, masih semangat? Oke. Before we continue to panel discussion session, maybe I will summarize some idea from Dr. Wahyu that democratization in Indonesia, it's about democratization versus economic rights. And if we talk about the citizenship in Indonesia, actually we talk about the rights, local rights, environmental rights, even the digital rights to have a voice. And I think in Indonesia, clientelism is still to be a hot issue. Actually, for the next election, patron client and political dynasty, it's ngeri-ngeri sedap Pak. Ngeri-ngeri sedap, tapi we have to announce or promote, discuss to remind us about political dynasty issue. And before we start the panel discussion, maybe I have utang sebenarnya. Dari tadi kan pantun terus, saya yang belum pantun. Jadi selama Pak Wahyu dan Bu Dr. Asmidar memberikan speech, saya bergerilya untuk, bukan saya yang buat pantun sebenarnya, tapi bergerilya untuk dapat pantun dari teman-teman yang bisa berpantun. Jadi begini, beli terasi di Pasar Rawu, Makan pepaya campur selasih. Bila demokrasi Indonesia maju, rakyat sejahtera tanpa korupsi. Lagi enggak, Gains? Once again. Beli durian ke Bekasi. Cukup sekian, terima kasih. Okay. I will invite our speaker, please, Dr. Asmidar, join us, and Dr. Wahyu. Oke, seperti janji saya tadi ya, jangan lupa ya, pertanyaannya disiapkan. In the middle. We have 5 souvenir, so maybe committee will organize, maybe, organize the session. We have 2 sessions for questions. The first session for 3 questionnaires. And the second one is 2 questionnaire. Okay, I think I will divide. The first one from left, the second one from middle, and I think the right, the third one from right. Okay, the first one from left. Who? Maybe Dr. Asmidar, you want to choose the student want to asking. Can you choose one? Oh, this one. Okay. The ladies. Yeah, the ladies. The middle. Yeah. Yeah. Please, in front. Okay.
Okay, thank you for opportunity. Let me introduce myself. My name is Risma Rosa Karunia. I'm an exchange student from Sriwijaya University in South Sumatra through the program Pertukaran Mahasiswa Merdeka. But I'm so sorry, my skill speaking in English is bad actually. Talking about democracy in Malaysia, I review a little about UMNO atau United Malay's National Organization. Where UMNO dominates almost all sectors in Malaysia, and UMNO's dominant leadership has drawn major criticism from the Malaysian people. But UMNO is considered not too dominant but also authoritarian, corrupt, and carries about discriminatory sectarian politics among in the Malay nation. Nah, this situation has encouraged the Malaysian people's dream of realizing a clean, just, and democratic government. So my question is this issue is true, and how do you, Dr. Asmidar Lukman, view this issue as a supporter of democracy? Thank you.
Thank you. The second, maybe Pak Wahyu, can you help me to choose? Okay.
Okay, well, thank you for the opportunity. First of all, my name is Dua Parego Samudra from Government Science Studies in Untirta. I have a question about political in Malaysia. Malaysia is a multiracial and multi-religious country with a population consisting of Malays, Chinese population, Indians, and others. All know that ethnic and religious groups, especially religious groups, have a big role in influencing politics in Indonesia. My question is, how do ethnic or religious groups play a role in influencing politics and society in Malaysia? Thank you.
And the last person from the right wing, maybe? Yeah. Okay, introduce yourself.
Thank you for attention. My name is Prasatyastri, and I'm going to. I want to ask about why did Malaysia choose semi-monarchy as the form of government after Malaysia's independence from British? Like, why didn't Malaysia choose other forms of governments instead, such as a republic like Indonesia did before? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all your questions. Maybe it's all about Malaysia, right? Okay. Before we, maybe we are waiting the Dr. Asmida to prepare the answer. Maybe. Okay. We have 3 questions from Sriwijaya. I forget your name. The ladies from Sriwijaya. Risma. Okay. It is about the authoritarian issues in Malaysia, and the second one from Samudra from government science students. He asked about the plural society and how do ethnics play roles in democracy in Malaysia. And the last question from Prasatyatris, why did Melayu semi-monarchy become, why Malaysians choose this monarchy as a system? So maybe I will give it to you. Okay.
All right. Can you hear me? Okay. The first question from Risma, the criticism of UMNO. UMNO is a main political party in Malaysia, consisted 100% of Malays. It is the most influential political party in Malaysia, which actually fight for Malaysian independence from the British. So they have been working since before the independence. So since the independence, they created an alliance with a few other political parties, and they, since 1955, they have been winning elections, and they become the government. And if you see the list of my slides, all those 9 prime ministers are UMNO leaders, including actually this current prime minister was an UMNO leader before, right? Before he was fired from the political party. So you can see UMNO influence onto the Malays are very strong, because they are the we can say independent fighters. However, the influence of UMNO, particularly now when we have the millennials, people who like you, who are very free in their thoughts and very free in what are the things that you would like to say. So there is a change of dynamics in who the young people support politically, right? So UMNO suffered very much in influence back in election 2018. So that election is very important in the Malaysian history, because that is the first election that denies UMNO as a party, because in Malaysia we have a political party that is, we call it Barisan Nasional, the National Front. So Barisan Nasional is a combination of many other political parties. UMNO, we have MIC, MCA, Bersatu, Berjasa, APCO from the Borneo and in Peninsular Malaysia. So UMNO is the head of this alliance, the Barisan Nasional, right? So because they are the biggest political party in Malaysia. However, in the election of 2018, this is where the shift happened. When the shift happened is when UMNO, as the head of Barisan Nasional, no longer able to win the election with a simple majority in 2018. That is we can say the historic moment where 65 years of UMNO grip onto Malaysian political mindset changes, totally changes. So UMNO during that time no longer can claim that they are the strongest political party because the shift has been seen, okay? Because they cannot simply win the election easily, right? So why does this happen? It's because there are a lot of concern from the citizens in Malaysia due to many corruption scandals. Okay, particularly it is highlighted during the administration of Najib Tun Razak. Okay, so that is one of the motivation for people, particularly young people, that shows that they are no longer willing to accept UMNO version of freedom, a version of democracy. So come in the last election we had, that was about last year. Okay, so that is also a very important election because that is the first time Malaysia agrees and passed the law to let people at 18 years old to vote. Okay, previously we only allow people starting from age 21. Okay. So last year was when the government approved the law that we allow people, that is you, young people at 18. So all my children went to vote. Okay. So this is very important because this is where UMNO failed to capture, because young people do not associate themselves very well with UMNO. Okay, because most of the UMNO leaders are old people like ourselves. So they are more influenced to younger politicians, and most of the younger and dynamic politicians are not in UMNO, because my personal view is that UMNO do not give enough opportunities for young people to become leaders, to replace all the old guards. We call them old guards. All right. So that is why the claim of UMNO being autocratic in a sense is true. Okay, in the sense that they're still keeping their old guards, all the old people, to become the top leaders in UMNO. So while the young people are constantly struggling to go up onto the rank of leaders in UMNO. All right. So with the change, then UMNO has lost a lot of influence, particularly in the young crowd of Malaysian. Okay, I hope I answered the questions. Yeah, all right. Okay, secondly, that will be from Samudra, the role of religious group, the role of ethnic and religious group, yeah, in Malaysian politics. Ethnic groups is consisted in, right after the independence of Malaysia, we have a political party, a coalition political party, we call it Alliance. Okay, so Alliance is made up with three main political parties: UMNO, and then we have MCA, consisted of the Malaysian Chinese Association, and then we have MIC, Malaysian Indian Association. All right. So these are the three important ethnicity that is representing the Malaysian citizen during at that time. Okay, the major ethnicity. So we have other ethnicity from Sabah, represented by APCO, and from Sarawak represented by Bersatu or Percasa, something like that. All right. So in Malaysia, it is very important based on ethnicity because each of these party is bringing to the government their own ethnicity concerns. Okay, UMNO bring Malay concerns, MCA brings Chinese concerns, MIC brings Indian concerns, and political party from Borneo is bringing the Borneo-based concerns, right? So this also it is an advantage, which means that each of these ethnicity feel that their voice is being heard in the government, all right? But the criticism would be, even though their voice is being heard, but they do not feel it is loud enough. Okay, so it is still questionable to some of these ethnicity political party that is more to be done by the government. All right. If it is a religious party, one of the most important religious party in Malaysia is PAS, Pan Malaysian party. All right. So PAS is a we can say it as a threat. UMNO see them as a threat. Okay, because PAS is very influential in the Middle East of Malaysia, in the Middle East of Peninsular Malaysia, in states such as Terengganu, Kelantan. Okay, now in the current government, PAS is the state government for Terengganu, Kelantan, and Kedah. There are 3 states held by PAS. Okay, which is UMNO try very hard to deny PAS of their state or state leadership, but they still cannot do it. Right? So because PAS is representing Malay Muslim, right? In Kedah and in Terengganu and Kelantan, we call it the Malay Belt. The Malay Belt in Malaysia are, we can say about 90% of the population are Malay Muslims. So having a political party that is religious based in Malaysia, particularly PAS, because PAS is the most successful political party based on religion in Malaysia. So it is very important because they capture the identification of Malay. Okay, because in Malaysia you will not be Malay if you are not Muslim. Okay, so because that is constitutional definition to who are Malays. Okay, Malay must be Muslim in practice. So PAS is representing that section of the population. Okay, so all right. Question number 3, Prasatya. Why Malaysia choose semi-monarchy in Malaysia, not as in presidential or what do you call it? Republic, right? Of Indonesia. Okay, we have to understand the history of Malaysia. Before Malaysia became a federation, before Malaysia was invaded by the British, we have an independent state. In Malaysia, we have 14 states. So all these 14 states actually, before the British came, they are individually independent states. They have their own king, right? So each of these states have their own king, right? And then even Johor as a state, their territory actually will include Riau, Palembang, Jambi. Those are all Johor Kingdom. Okay, before they were divided by the British and the Dutch. All right, so they are actually legitimate ruler of this state. Okay, the same with Kedah. Kedah was same with Kelantan. They have Patani, the southern of Thailand, is a part of their ruling state. Okay, same with Kedah, part of the southern Thailand is part of their ruling state. Those were like, hundreds years ago. Okay, so they are legitimate ruler of the state. So when Malaysia was invaded or colonized by the British, they changed these dynamics. Okay, where they changed, Indonesia was given to the Dutch, and Malaysia was given to the British. So this state has been cut off into two. Okay, but they still remain as the ruler of this state. Okay, so what happened was when we get the independence, there is an agreement made by the rulers of the Malay rulers with the British government, is that they demand that their position and their power remains as the ruler of that state, even though the power is not the same. Okay, because when Malaysia gained its independence, we become a federation, the federation of all those 14 states. Right? So with the federation, we agree to have a federal government that is represented by the Prime Minister. So where do we put these rulers? So this ruler become a monarchy, which we call it a constitutional monarchy. Okay? So their power is stated by the constitution. The power is not as strong as before. So whatever power that the king have currently in Malaysia is limited by the constitution. Okay? Things such as they are the head of the Islam religion, they are the head of the armed forces, they have the power to pardon prisoners. Those are among some of their powers. So they are called a constitutional monarchy. Okay? So their position there in Malaysia is just like a symbol of what we call a sovereignty of Malaysia. They don't have the executive power like the Prime Minister. Okay? They have only the power that is given to them by the Constitution. All right? So they become, however, the Prime Minister must always consult the Yang di-Pertuan Agong on the matters of Malaysia. So the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, like I said before, during the political crisis in Malaysia in 2020 until 2022, where constitutionally, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong has the power to choose who is to become the Prime Minister of Malaysia. So the idea of why Malaysia has king, because previously I believe Indonesia have kings too, correct? Okay. The idea of why Malaysia still have king or monarchy system, because that is the agreement we made with the Malay rulers before we gain independence. Yeah, I hope I answer your question. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Asmidar, for the answer. Maybe before we continue to the participant questions, I have a question for Pak Wahyu. Pak, regarding to your presentation about the citizenship and local politics in Indonesia, so what's the game for the future for millennials? What's the game? Is it environmental problems? Is it still human rights? Is it freedom in digital platform? So what's the game for the future in citizenship in Indonesia?
Thank you for the questions. I'd like to answer in bahasa, is that okay? I think ini pertanyaannya penting. Jadi apa sih gamenya ya? Game for citizenship for the next future, especially for young generation like you, for the millennial, Gen Z gitu. Jadi bila kita melihat apa yang terjadi sekarang, kita nggak bisa pisah dari dunia digital nomor satu. Kemudian climate change itu real. Jadi mungkin dua hal ya, human right akan tetap tapi dia akan menurun karena digital dan lingkungan hidup itu juga bagian dari human rights sebetulnya. part of it gitu. Jadi cuman memang kita harus akui kalau digital cukup banyak perhatiannya ya. Tapi terhadap isu-isu lingkungan ini kita sangat kurang sebetulnya. Apa yang kita alami kemarin El Nino panjang, temperatur yang sangat panas di Jakarta, dan saya nggak tahu kalau di Serang. Jakarta itu panas sekali, kita pernah sampai 39 derajat Celcius. The highest recorded in Indonesia gitu. Jadi Anda bisa bayangkan sekarang ini kita di sini suhunya kan sekitar 30. September lalu tempat saya tinggal di Jakarta itu 39 derajat. Itu tinggi sekali karena on average suhu di Jakarta itu 32 derajat. Pasti ada yang salah kan? Nah ini sekarang kita memang ketinggalan ya untuk isu-isu lingkungan dibandingkan dengan kawan sebaya kalian di Eropa, terutama Skandinavia. Itu ada, saya lupa perempuan kecil yang dapat Nobel Prize ya, itu kan Greta siapa gitu ya. Ya Greta Thunberg ya. Itu kan anak muda gitu ya. Jadi saya sebetulnya banyak berharap pada generasi muda itu untuk lebih memperhatikan lingkungan. Jadi gamenya kita ke depan adalah soal lingkungan. Dari mana mulainya? Sekarang kita sudah punya program di Indonesia untuk mengurangi emisi karbon kan. Ada banyak sekali itu, saya banyak sekali skema. Sekarang saya ikut juga penelitian mengenai penurunan gas rumah kaca, kemudian juga just energy transitions. Itu transisi energi juga harus adil juga gitu, karena kalau nggak adil nanti yang miskin nggak kebagian gitu. Jadi banyak sekali problem. Mungkin sekarang mahasiswa kami semua masih menggunakan motor berbahan bakar fossil fuels kan, bensin, gasoline gitu ya. Di sini jualnya Pertalite, itu ada 2 jenis, ada Pertalite dan ada Pertamax begitu. Ke depan udah nggak bisa lagi. 30 tahun ke depan kita harus mengganti energi karena fossil fuel sudah nggak ada. Jadi kendaraan juga akan lebih banyak yang menggunakan listrik, walaupun sekarang sudah ada, infrastrukturnya belum cukup. Jadi kalau menurut saya ke depan kita akan banyak berdiskusi, bicara mengenai generasi yang kalian hadapi itu adalah soal lingkungan. Dan itu real seperti yang dihadapi oleh kita Indonesia dengan Malaysia itu soal haze itu kan belum selesai sampai sekarang. Udah agak menurun, tapi kalau bulan Agustus September sampai awal November itu banyak sekali asap dari Riau dan kita beri ke tetangga kita, kan nggak bagus gitu ya. Saya sengaja bulan Oktober kalau ada bakar saya malah kesana pengen tahu itu. Nggak bisa bernafas. Jadi kita waktu COVID pakai masker ya. Kita kalau ada asap itu harus pakai N95, N95 mask yang tebal itu. Dan itu susah untuk untuk bernafas betul. Jadi ya mudah-mudahan kampus di ini tetap hijau ya, saya suka itu. Tetap hijau. Kalau di Ciputat udah susah cari yang hijau di kampus saya itu. Jadi ada 2 ya, soal digital akan jadi penting sekali karena Anda lahir udah pegang gadget gitu ya. Kemudian juga digital ini terkait juga dengan banyak hal. Yang pentingnya adalah perlindungan data pribadi sebetulnya. Saya nggak tahu di Malaysia bagaimana, tapi di Indonesia perlindungan data pribadi itu agak longgar. Kemarin saya dapat berita, data pemilih itu dihack. Anda bayangkan data kita itu dijual di dark web itu harganya berapa saya nggak tahu. Gitu. Itu kan artinya pemerintah nggak bisa melindungi data kita. Gitu. Dan kita harus aware bahwa data kita itu nggak bisa di-share. Kalau saya punya teman Jepang, saya minta nomor teleponnya, kolega saya di kampus Grips itu nggak pernah dikasih nomor pribadi. Send me emails. Jadi mereka begitu memproteksi dirinya gitu. Kalau kita kan nggak, kadang-kadang ada kawan minta nomor telepon kita bagi aja, itu nggak boleh sebetulnya. Kita harus izin dulu sama yang punya nomor. Tanya, saya mau share ke bapak itu boleh nggak? Karena belum tentu dia happy juga kan di share. Jadi kita harus mulai peka ya terhadap hal-hal yang sifatnya perlindungan data pribadi. Karena dalam dunia digital kita tuh bisa dimanipulasi. Ada orang yang mengaku saya sebagai Wahyu Prasetya, tapi bukan saya gitu loh. Secara virtual dia bisa eksis. Gitu. Ini bahaya sekali kalau menurut saya kalau kita nggak cukup aware soal itu ya. Jadi saya rasa dua ya, digital and climate change. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Wahyu. And the next question, maybe one from female and one from male. Okay, there is two person, female and male. Okay.
Hello everyone, my name is Rizka Aulia from Government Science. Di sini pertanyaan saya adalah mengenai tentang hukum adat seperti yang tadi Pak Wahyu sampaikan, bahwa setiap daerah, terutama tadi dalam contoh itu adalah daerah Riau, itu kan memiliki kultur yang memiliki hukum adat. Jadi apakah hukum adat itu dapat berubah jika pemerintah menekan masyarakat di daerah tersebut untuk merubahnya, padahal hukum adat tersebut misalnya digunakan untuk melindungi lingkungan mereka? Dan apakah hukum adat tersebut nantinya akan dianggap sebagai bentuk perlawanan dari masyarakat suatu daerah kepada pemerintah yang misalnya menekan mereka dalam isu-isu lingkungan? Seperti itu pertanyaan saya.
Oke, terima kasih. The second one. Yeah.
Baik, terima kasih. Pertanyaan terkait dengan baik, perkenalkan nama saya Farir dari Ilmu Pemerintahan. Terkait dengan local politics, tadi tentang meritokrasi. Nah, melihat para artis yang nyalek terbilang belum bisa kompeten dalam bidangnya. Nah, mengapa sistem pemerintahan Indonesia ini belum bisa mengintegrasikan antara demokrasi dengan meritokrasi? Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you. We have two questions from Aulia and Fahri. The first question about the rules of adat, hukum adat. Maybe Pak Wahyu will answer about this, and also Fahri ask about the local politics, about the democracy and meritocracy. Maybe it can be Bu Dr. Asmidar. Can you share about the local politics in Malaysia, about the election, about the campaign, yeah, maybe there is a dynasty as well in Malaysia, maybe, yeah. Okay, Pak Wahyu first.
Terima kasih, Siska ya namanya ya, Rizka. Oke, sorry, pertanyaannya sih susah sekali ya. Karena memang saya nggak akan menjawab secara langsung, tapi saya akan kasih ilustrasi kira-kira begini. Sebagian dari proses dari konflik agraria yang dialami oleh masyarakat so-called adat itu kan karena ada hukum yang berbeda yang saya sebut tadi dalam presentasi sebagai pluralisme hukum. Jadi ketika ada hukum adat dan ceritanya begini, hukum adat itu udah ada duluan sebelumnya, sebelum ada Indonesia kan. Indonesia merdeka kan 45, hukum adat itu udah ada duluan. Cuman masalahnya ketika Indonesia merdeka, semua hukum yang dibuat oleh pemerintah Belanda itu diadopsi. Jadi wilayah-wilayah yang tidak ada catatan hukumnya gitu, misalnya ada begitu banyak lahan yang nggak ada sertifikatnya, itu diklaim oleh negara itu sebagai tanah negara. Kalau dia tanah negara itu kan bisa dikontrakkan gitu kepada pihak ketiga. Dalam hal ini perusahaan-perusahaan kelapa sawit kah, perusahaan minyak gitu. Karena hukum adat yang dimiliki oleh adat-adat, salah satunya di Gunung Padang, di Talang Mamak gitu ya, di tempat saya penelitian disebutnya di sana kebatinan ya, kalau di Riau itu memang tidak diakui oleh negara, karena kalau ditanya ada sertifikatnya nggak ada. Saya tahunya dari ujung sana sampai ujung sana itu punya nenek moyang saya katanya. Nah ini jadi masalah dan harus carikan solusinya sebetulnya. Karena itu kan hak orang yang tinggal lebih dulu sebetulnya. Kalau kita lihat hak asasi ya, HAM itu orang yang lebih dulu tinggal di sana, ada catatannya atau tidak ada catatannya, dia yang berhak. Kan itu bisa dilacak catatan-catatan sejak zaman Belanda sebetulnya ya, ada catatannya. Siapa yang menghuni apa di wilayah mana itu ada catatannya gitu. Tapi ini sampai sekarang belum selesai, nggak bisa selesai, mungkin juga tadi harus dicarikan solusinya. Ada sekitar 2.600 lebih kasus yang seperti ini di Indonesia, dan kita belum tahu penyelesaiannya seperti apa, kecuali negara mau mengakomodasi hak-hak yang dimiliki oleh masyarakat adat. Memang sudah ada program namanya perhutanan sosial, tapi perhutanan sosial bukan tanah adat yang dimaksud ini, dia tanah lain lagi gitu, jadinya nggak nyambung gitu loh. Di Banten juga banyak punya persoalan dengan yang disebut dengan kasepuhan kan. Kasepuhan itu tanah siapa? Tanah negarakah atau tanah milik masyarakat lokal? Kalau misalnya ada investor mau bikin hotel di situ, dan orang lokal di sana nggak punya sertifikat atas tanahnya, kalau belum dikeluarin ya, sekarang ada program ngasih sertifikat, itu bisa nggak tanahnya diambil oleh negara? Sangat bisa, karena itu dianggap tanah negara. Gitu. Jadi kita ini ada dua hukum yang belum ketemu, yaitu hukum adat. Kalau di Padang itu namanya customary land ya, tanah ulayat. Di Riau juga disebutnya tanah ulayat. Kalau di sini kan kasepuhan ya, tanah-tanah itu masih bermasalah. Sekarang memang sudah ada penelitian supaya tanah-tanah itu bisa diakomodasi, diakui secara hukum, supaya tidak diambil oleh pihak ketiga gitu. Jadi kalau ditanya jawabannya bisa, kita masih proses untuk itu sampai sekarang ya. Jadi cukup susah kalau jawab iya dan tidak, itu susah karena itu proses panjang untuk pengakuan hak-hak. Dan kalau menurut saya dari sisi citizenship itu adalah hak orang yang pertama kali tinggal. Di negara maju, di Jepang yang saya tahu, kalau ada mau bikin bangunan, ada orang tinggal di situ duluan 4, bangunannya yang minggir. Kalau di kita kan enggak, orangnya yang digeser kan. Seperti yang kejadian di Rempang itu kan, itu melanggar hak, bukan hanya hak asasi manusia itu, hak kita sebagai citizen untuk hidup di tempat kita ingin, itu juga dilanggar gitu. Hak kita sebagai citizen itu tidak diproteksi oleh negara karena ada investor besar yang ingin menggeser kehidupan kita. Makanya citizenship jadi isu penting itu ke depan, karena kita memang belum banyak aware, belum banyak sadar mengenai hak-hak kita sendiri gitu ya. Saya tidak kira-kira jawaban saya kira gitu, mudah-mudahan bisa menjawab ya. Yang kedua itu dari Mas Fahri ya. Mas Fahri mengenai meritokrasi, tapi nggak nyinggung-nyinggung yang terjadi di sini ya sebetulnya. Jadi gini, game electoral politics di Indonesia itu kan sebetulnya ini kesalahan orang-orang kayak saya juga. I'm pollster actually. I was a pollster working for 7 years. The first polling station, pollster in Indonesia. Gamenya kalau dalam pemilihan umum itu, pemilihan jadi anggota legislatif, itu memang bukan kompetensi, popularity. Jadi semakin populer itu semakin baik gitu ya. Artinya kalau dia populer, dikenal, chance untuk dipilih itu lebih terbuka daripada saya atau kawan saya. We are not known gitu. Kita nggak dikenal gitu. Jadi kalau saya maju menjadi caleg, jadi kandidat gitu, siapa yang mau pilih? Karena nggak dikenal. Kalau artis itu kan sudah dikenal kan. Jadi ada satu partai yang kita sebut partai titik-titik nasional gitu ya. Saya nggak nyebut namanya gitu loh ya. Titik-titik jadinya. Saya nggak bisa disu ya pokoknya. Jadi itu memang partai itu, kenapa ceritanya begini. Awalnya memang hanya coba, tapi ternyata dia membentuk milieu tertentu. Ini kan teori network, kalau kita udah ketemu dengan orang yang nyaman, pasti kumpulnya ke situ kan? Iya kan? Karena dia ada temennya di situ. Misalnya si pelawak X gitu mau ngajak artis B, kan mereka bisa ngobrol dengan bahasa mereka sebagai selebritis. Makanya partai politik yang banyak artisnya kan cuma satu. Yang lain sedikit kan? Ada, tapi nggak banyak kan? Yang banyak di partai yang itu kan? Nggak boleh disebut namanya, kayak Darth Vader. Jadi karena gamenya adalah soal popularity, electability, kompetensi jadi hilang. Kompetensi kan equal to meritocracy. Gitu. Padahal makanya yang harus dididik itu adalah kita sebagai voters juga harus dididik. Kita harus jadi teman-teman di sini setelah pulang kuliah itu di rumahnya juga mendidik tetangganya harus pilih voters itu berdasarkan kompetensinya. Sekarang saya dulu pernah bikin survei, pertanyaannya gampang, kalian tahu nggak yang mewakili daerah kalian siapa? Nggak tahu. 90% itu kita nggak tahu. Jadi kita tuh pilih siapa, itu juga nggak tahu gitu loh. Jadi kita kayak asal pilih aja gitu. Kan harusnya di distrik kita, misalnya saya di Ciputat ya, saya harus tahu dong 10 orang yang akan bertanding gitu. Anda tahu nggak 10 orang yang akan bertanding di wilayah Anda untuk pemilihan besok? Dari partai X, Y, Z, tahu nggak? Nah, kalau makanya ada partai yang berdasarkan artis, ya salah sendiri. Karena gamenya sekarang adalah game popularitas. Berlomba-lomba untuk dikenal, setelah dikenal dia akan berlomba-lomba untuk punya elektabilitas yang tinggi kemudian untuk dipilih. Gitu. Kan sudah setengah pekerjaan kan? Kalau saya kan harus datang satu-satu gitu ke pintu ini, saya Wahyu tolong pilih saya dong. Kalau artis kan nggak perlu. Tapi masalahnya nggak semua artis punya kompetensi. Kita tahu ya ada anggota DPR di pusat sana, jadi artis kan. Kita tahu nggak kerja apa pekerjaan mereka? Nggak tahu juga kan. Bill apa sih yang mereka propose gitu? Nggak pernah ada catatannya kan? Gitu. Ya itu sedihnya kayak gitu. Mudah-mudahan menjawab ya. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Dr. Wahyu. Nggak bahaya tah ngomongin itu, Pak? Okay, Dr. Asmidar maybe you want to continue to maybe local politics candidates campaign in Malaysia.
I will have the same worry with Dr. Wahyu. Okay, we talk first about meritocracy. So in meritocracy in Malaysia, it was quite a new idea presented in Malaysia back in maybe before 2000. Okay, the idea of meritocracy during that time is particularly in education and job opportunities. Okay, so in education, there is a ranking whenever students are applying into the university system, because in Malaysia the university system is controlled by one center. We call it Unit Pemilihan University, okay, UPU, right? So whenever you are applying for any universities in Malaysia, so they will put your name with thousands of other names. It's like in a database. Now you can choose from that pool 12 different universities, and they will rank you according to your grades. That is the meritocracy. So the higher, because different universities will have different grades of requirement. So universities like, we have top universities in Malaysia, University Malaya, University Kebangsaan Malaysia, University Science Malaysia, those are among the top 3. Okay, so how you are going to enter this university will be based on that grades that you have during that ranking. They will give you like a number, okay, how many hundreds that you have scored. So based on that, then you will get the universities that you think that you have applied. All right, so that is the meritocracy. So you cannot, so that is one in education. So in job opportunities, that is also a meritocracy system that is done in Malaysia. That will be depending on the qualification that you have. One is qualification. Second is what is the qualification in, right? If it is engineering, then we will rate you according to your qualification. From which university that you graduate, what is your CGPA, what is your curricular activities that you have done, and apart from that, you have to go through an interview. Okay. However, I'm not denying that there is still a practice of favoritism in selecting, particularly in job opportunities. Right. So that will be on meritocracy. On local politics, I think we in Malaysia face the same problem with you in Indonesia, with money politics and also with political dynasty. All right. So in money politics, that is very serious that young people in Malaysia are talking about it, because there are so many things that has happened within the political party in Malaysia that requires money for you to operate. All right. Political dynasty, we can see, I'm not going to say like dynasty from your grandfather, your father, and your whatnot, but we can see the pattern. It has a pattern that is taking place currently in Malaysian local politics, where if you see the second prime minister, the fifth prime minister is the son of the second prime minister. Okay, and the third prime minister has a son that become a minister, minister of defense, minister of foreign relations before this. He is the son of the third prime minister. And the son of the third prime minister is the cousin of the fifth prime minister. All right, so you have the fourth prime minister has, the fourth and seventh prime minister has a son who become a minister for one of the state. All right, okay, and the current prime minister, his wife was a deputy prime minister for the seventh prime minister. So that is a pattern of political dynasty in some sort. All right, so I think because we are good neighbors, maybe, so we share some of that similarities. Unfortunately.
Give applause. Okay, interesting. Okay, interesting. Thank you. But yeah, because this is the end of the panel discussion. This is interesting discussion. This is interesting conference, and I think we have to give applause again for our speakers. And thank you for the committee, for the organizer, for the all participants here, and hopefully we can hold again the conference, the third conference. Maybe it's ICDeSA. Maybe we can together again discuss a lot of discussion about democracy. Okay, okay. I will give it back to the MC for the closing, the ceremony. MC, we are still here or go back to
May to take photo first?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Please standing our speakers for take a photo with us. Yes. We give the speakers and the moderator to take a picture first. May give me smile, another pose. Oke, thank you. Tentu. Oke, ladies and gentlemen, boleh tepuk tangan sekali lagi, tentu saja untuk Dr. Asmidar Lukman dan juga tentu saja untuk Dr. Wahyu yang telah memberikan begitu banyak insight baru untuk kita dan juga tentu dipandu langsung oleh luar biasa ya, cepat sekali loh geraknya. Saya belum selesai sampai sini udah selesai digotong. Ya. Dan saat ini mohon mari kita berikan kesempatan to give the speakers and moderator a certificate And I would like to kindly invite first Dr. Eli Nurlia to give the certificate to Mr. Wahyu. Kindly joining to the stage. Iya, demi konten Pak ini. Demi konten. And not just the certificate but also the souvenir, right? The souvenir? Just a little bit souvenir, kindly memorable in your mind that we have a moment together in ICDeSA 2023. Boleh tepuk tangan sekali lagi untuk Bapak Wahyu, luar biasa. Thank you, terima kasih. May now back to your seat, Dr. Eli and Dr. Wahyu. And of course, next certificate we'll give to Dr. Asmidar Lukman, and would like to invite Miss Ika Arinia to give the certificate to Dr. Asmidar Lukman. Take a photo first. Our neighborhood university, right? Mara University, the biggest university in KL, for your information. Also the souvenir. Please receive the souvenir. It just little bit something will give symbolic. And then Dr. Asmidar Lukman have something special for us, especially for governance studies. May Miss Ika Arinia to receive the souvenir atau kenang-kenangan. Apa bahasa Malaysianya souvenir ya? Cindera mata, cindera mata, cindera hati. Untuk hati ketua jurusan kita ya. Mantul lagi. Thank you so much to Dr. Asmidar Lukman once again. We'd like to so very insightful and a good moment. And last but not least, we will give the certificate to our moderator, of course. And I would like to invite Mr. Gojali to give the certificate. From Secretary of Governance Studies ya, to our moderator of ICDeSA 2023. Of course, for second time as a moderator. Baik, terima kasih banyak untuk Bapak Gozali selaku sekretaris dari Prodi ya, jurusan Ilmu Pemerintahan. Ya, saya diminta untuk closing di sini tadi di request dari floor director ya, karena saya hanya talent. Oh, ada door prize. Sesuai janji saya di awal, sesuai dengan janji saya di awal, as a promises, kita akan memberikan beberapa door prize untuk penanya. Mau maju ke depan atau diberikan di tempat? Maju ke depan aja. Kindly invite the questioner, orang-orang yang bertanya tadi. Silahkan dipanggil, ada namanya atau gimana? Kesadaran sendiri loh kata panitianya. Komite said. Kata komitenya kesadaran sendiri yang bertanya tadi, silahkan maju ke depan. Silakan untuk berbaris satu banjar ya, satu banjar. Satu banjar, satu soft. Okay, we have 5 personer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we would like to invite Mr. Yebi to give the cindera hati. And also we have to say thanks to all the audience for the attention, for the good supportive, as long as you been here as the participant of ICDeSA. Ya, sambil diberikan cindera hatinya, kami ingin kembali reminder untuk klik link absen ya, absensi. Sudah di-share? Sudah ya? Oke, sudah dipastikan untuk mendapat sertifikat. Pas azan berkumandang. Giving applause for the good participant today. Oh, boleh take a photo first. Oke. Di tengah atau di pinggir Pak Yebi? Oh, di tengah. Oke. Dikerubungi. Kerubungi bahasa Malaysianya. Sudah? Thank you. May now back to return to your seat. Bersamaan dengan, di mana saya? Di sini saja. Oke. Nggak ada tandanya ya? Bersamaan dengan azan yang berkumandang, tentu saja sudah saatnya kita harus menyelesaikan pertemuan kita pada hari ini ya. Dan ladies and gentlemen, all the participants, all the speakers, all the lecturers, all the team of decanate maybe, as we approach the end of the second International Conference of Democratization in Southeast Asia, I would like to take this moment to express my sincere gratitude to all of you making today's event success. Thank you for the generous support and active participation through the event. On behalf of the organizing committee, I also want to take a moment to apologize for any shortcomings or inconvenience. My name is Dini Hari. See you at the next International Conference on Democratization in Southeast Asia. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Oh, mau wifi dulu ya, wifi. Ini lagi-lagi demi konten millennials ya. Kita wifi dulu. Dosen-dosen dan speakers boleh hadir di depan. Mau berdiri terus gini ya? Atau mau gimana? Oh, cukup di tempat berdiri tapi. Oh, boleh. Mungkin berdiri begini atau gimana? Iya. Oke. May you standing in front of here? All the speakers may standing in front of here to take a picture or wifi. Didampingi oleh para dosen, silahkan. Silakan all the lecturers ya, Mr. Ghazali, Mr. Yebi, and Mr. Gilang also, Mr. Dian, yang berada di cabin lagi, di sayap kanan dan kiri boleh merapat. Di area kanan atau kiri merapat ya. Oke, merapat ganteng. Oke, lebih ke tengah lagi biar kena. Nanti di tag kalau di Instagramnya, sekecil apapun muka kalian kita akan tag tetap. Sekecil apapun. Ready? Kita mau tag tiga gaya ya, 3 gaya ya. Yang pertama formal. Gaya pertama kita gaya formal. Gaya kedua Untirta Jawara. Yang ketiga bebas. Oke ya. Mufakat ya. Yang pertama itu formal, yang kedua Jawara, yang ketiga gaya bebas. Oke. Yuk kita hitung bareng-bareng. 1, 2, 3. Ganti gaya? Jawara. Sambil ngomong Untirta Jawara. Apa ngomongnya? Iya, udah terlalu lama jadi alumni jadi lupa. Mohon maaf. Untirta Jawara gitu ya. Oke. Saya nggak dapet loh. Saya yang kepotong ya. Di tag tapi tetep ya. Yuk. 1, 2, 3. Untirta. Video. Video or photo? Photo or video? Just foto lah. Just foto lah ya. It's over for millennials. Udah masih Jawara ya. 1, 2, 3 Untirta. Gaya bebas terakhir. Boleh? Gaya bebas menunjukkan kebebasan demokrasi ya di millennials. Yuk boleh. Yuk 1. Gaya bebas 1, 2, 3. Lebih bebas lagi 1, 2, 3. Oke, thank you so much. Terima kasih banyak. Sampai jumpa di kesempatan berikutnya. Di komite ya, panitia dipanggil untuk foto. Panitia dipanggil untuk foto sebentar ya, mohon izin. Ini lagu cublok-cublok suweng ya. Enggak.
You're going to take a photo first for all the panitia. Boleh ya, take a photo first for all the panitia. Oh, komplain loh aku belum. Repeat again the song. Our head of Prodi like that song ya, soalnya jadi harus diputer-puter terus.